Yo, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to a DFS strategy video for the 2025 Truist Championship. My name is Eric, and I'm here at SweetSpotDFS to go over everything you're going to want to know on how to target the optimal lineup this week. Of course, that is what I like to do on this channel. Try to build the perfect lineup to take down a GPP, win thousands of dollars. And whenever they put a million maker lineup out there, try to make millions of dollars. Anyways, it's a new tournament. This is replacing the Wells Fargo Championship just for this year because Quail Hollow, the golf course that typically hosts the Wells Fargo, is hosting the PGA Championship, which I believe is next week, right? I'm pretty sure it's next week. Let me double check on that. I should have known this beforehand. Yes, PGA Championship next week is at Quail Hollow. So this is a one-off. And if I know some of you out there already went to the cheat sheet and you took a look at it. I'm actually going to throw it on the screen right now so you guys can see it. This is my website, SweetSpotDFS.com. You can go to the cheat sheet here, but if you scroll down, you can find this cheat sheet. Just click on that button. It brings you to the Google Sheet. This is what I will most likely be operating from, or a sheet that looks just similar to that. If you go to the bucket system, it says new tournament, no bucket system, right up here at the top, and we'll discuss in video. Because this is a new golf course that the PGA Tour hasn't played since I've had my data, since I've recorded my data, that goes all the way back to 2013. I don't have a bucket system for it. I can pretend that this is the Wells Fargo Championship, but it isn't. It's not at Quail Hollow. It's not sponsored by the Wells Fargo. It is a signature event, so there's that. But I don't have a bucket system for this tournament. What we're going to do instead, I already have this loaded up in my browser. We are going to take a look at all of the signature events dating back to 2014, and we are going to manually create a bucket system. And I'm going to do that on my optimizer, which looks just like this. And this is what I build lineups with every single week. And that's what I'll be doing this week as well. So I'm going to be going into this kind of with all of you, just manually doing this. We're going to update all these conditionals, and then we're going to we're going to build lineups at the end of this video. So it might be a little bit longer than usual. I just want to throw that out there. It is going to be more of a deep dive than previous strategy videos. So I'm just getting y'all prepared for what this video is going to bring into, or what I'm going to bring into this video. Now, I'm going to cover the same things. We're gonna go over the golf course, the tournament information. We'll go over pass optimal and GPP winning lineups for signature events. So I'm going to bring all of that into play. We're gonna use SweetSpotDFS.com to filter out by tournament. I did get an email from a member, Michael. Michael was like, hey, you should have a button in there that can toggle on signature events and non-signature events. That is something I can do in the future, not something I can do right now, because I don't have anything that determines it being a signature event than not. You'll just have to understand which tournaments were signature events and which are not. Thankfully, we can start from 2024 and move on, and it's the same events. And I'll show you guys how that looks like, how to add those filters to the website when we get there. I will review the CJ Cup Byron Nelson, because believe it or not, the Sweet Spot process did really well last week. I personally didn't make a ton of money from last week DFS contest, but we were on the right track. The question was to Scotty Scheffler or not to Scotty Scheffler, and obviously we wanted to Scotty Scheffler. So we'll get more into that, and then we will dive into the bucket system, just like I had mentioned earlier in this video, going over, basically a manual bucket system that, again, I will cover once we get there. And then, of course, we go into the Marquee Tee Times, and then we build lineups at the end of the video. So that's what you can look forward to in this video. Just a reminder, this is a live chat, or this is a stream. It's a live video. So I have a chat that's open here that I like to talk to from time to time. Some people still don't understand that. It's okay. Just if I, look off to the right and I talk to the chat, I will try to let you guys know that that's what I'm doing. And obviously, if you want to skip ahead, there are timestamps in the description. Okay. With that being said, I will acknowledge chat. Joanne, nice to see you. Good evening to you. AJ Love, I am here. Thought I wasn't going to make the stream. My gig was stopped due to rain. So now listening on my drive home. Well, I'm sorry that you got rained out, AJ. That stinks. Nathan Johnson, good evening. 8 game. Hey, haven't seen you in a while. Nice to see you back. Joanne says should be a second shot course. Most courses are second shot courses, but yes, I don't disagree. Lombardi Lee, hey, what's up? To everybody in the chat. Lombardi Lee, nice to see you as well. Okay. Before I like to get into these videos, I do like to go over giveaways. I'll throw it up on the screen. This is what I like to do. $5 weekly giveaway and then a monthly giveaway to SweetSpotDFS.com. If we reach the goal, that's 850 subscribers. You can see that all the way over there to the left. We are a little short. We're at about 19. We're 19 subscribers short. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do so. It helps us hit our goals. And then there's additional giveaways on top of that. And the additional giveaway for the monthly giveaway, I give out a t-shirt. This is one of them. You can get your hands on this. I was wearing one last week. It was a red one. And then I also have another. I have 2 other ones, I should say. So those are all available for this monthly giveaway. As long as we hit the goal. If not, I mean, obviously, I'm still going to do a membership, a monthly membership to SweetSpotDFS.com. And we're going to run those giveaways right now. So I'm going to go ahead and bring that down, and then I will bring up the giveaways. And oh, by the way, I will be doing, like I typically do every single week, roll call at the 1 hour mark. So if I see that I'm at the 1 hour mark, I will do that. People in the chat might remind me that, hey, we've been at an hour. Are we going to do a roll call? And then I will. So obviously you can see we had 2 roll calls last week. We had 21 total entries. And also, you can get additional entries if you go to the video after it posts to YouTube, because obviously this is live right now. It is streaming in real time. There's a 10-second delay between you and I. But once I hit end broadcast, this gets uploaded to YouTube. And you guys get to go back. You can go back to the video and leave comments down in the comment section. So not only are all the people in the live chat commenting here, but you guys can all go back to it and leave a comment on the actual video in the comment section and get an additional entry. And oh, by the way, there's a little Easter egg in the description that will give you an additional entry if you just follow the rules. Simple as that. Denny Barry and Nathan Johnson got it. So they got 2 entries just by following the rules. That's all. So 21 total entries. Here we go. I'll put a drum roll on. And our weekly winner is AJ Love. 2 weeks in a row, man. 3 total entries. This was on roll call number 2. But AJ doesn't cheat himself. He gets as many entries in as possible. Just only increases your chances of winning. So congrats, AJ. You won $5. Now we go to the monthly giveaway, which again is a monthly giveaway to SweetSpotDFS.com. We did not hit our goal. So just want to make sure all of this is correct, because the other time that I did it was not. This is to a monthly membership. So you need to have an account at SweetSpotDFS.com. And this actually plays into another giveaway that I'll be doing after I bring this down. I will show you what it is. If you don't have an account on SweetSpotDFS.com, it's free. Go sign up. It's simple. And you'll get an entry into another giveaway that I'll show you shortly. But the monthly giveaway winner is AJ Love. It's not rigged. I swear to God, it's not rigged. See, Philip Hall wins. It's not rigged. Nathan Johnson, 25 entries, probably the most entries. See, it's not rigged, but AJ, you won again. You sneaky little devil. Yeah, AJ had 13 total entries. So, hey, anybody can win. You just need to participate. That's all. So AJ, I don't think you have an account, not that I remember or that I've seen. Go to SweetSpotDFS.com, create yourself an account, reach out to me. I most likely will know what your email address is. I will give you a promo code that'll give you a month off. So easy as that. But congrats, man. That's 2 wins. 2 AJ Love wins. Well, 2 wins in a row, weekly wins in a row, and then he got the weekly and monthly. So, congrats, man. And like I said before, there is an additional giveaway. It is the SweetSpotDFS.com giveaway. You need to have an account at SweetSpotDFS.com. It is free. I don't ask you for your credit card information. I don't ask for any of that for a free account. It's just you go in there, you provide a first name, a last name, a user account, and an email address with a password, of course. And that's it. Simple as that. You don't have to do anything else. There's a link in the description of this video. Just click on the link. It'll send you there. Simple. You just go to log in. And then if it says you don't have an account, you sign up. Simple, dude. Simple. So go create yourself an account. And then, yeah. A Game says he's going to bed. All right, man. We'll see you in the morning. And good night to you as well. Okay. Create an account, SweetSpotDFS.com. I'm giving away $1,000 worth of giveaways. 2 of those giveaways are memberships to SweetSpotDFS.com. One's an annual membership worth $200. One is a lifetime membership worth $600. And then I'm also giving away 2 $100 cash giveaways. So in case you're just like, well, I don't care about your website, which I don't know why you wouldn't. It is shaping up to be one of the better websites that you can use for DFS golf. It will be the best. It will be the best by the end of the year. I guarantee you it. It will be the best. I shouldn't say I guarantee it. It is my goal to make it the best. So if you don't have an account, go create an account. But again, if you don't want a SweetSpot DFS membership, that's fine. You can get 2 $100 or you can get one of 2 $100 cash giveaways. That's a tongue twister. So yeah, go to SweetSpotDFS.com. Link in the description. All right, that's it. That's the rest of the sell jobs that I'm going to do for the evening. I will continue to remind you that, hey, it's a good website. You should go to it. Become a member for free, and then that's it. Before I continue on, I see Wheels Up in the chat. What's going on, man? As it's a featured event, that's the one thing we should filter out or avoid. Since it's a signature event with a stronger field, is there a certain metric or narrative that's easier to disregard? I don't know. I think just looking at other signature events is probably the best. I am leery of using like major championships as a metric, like because the strength of field is going to be very similar. I'd probably avoid that because those are full field events most of the time. Not the Masters. You could almost use the Masters, but kind of not really, because a lot of people here well, I shouldn't even say that, because I think a lot of people that have qualified for the signature event are within the top 50 of the OWGR. And of the top 50 of the OWGR, you get into the Masters. There are a few Aon top 5, Aon top 10, that kind of stuff. Those guys qualified that probably didn't play in the Masters. I can't tell you off the top of my head, but that's probably a thing. But outside of that, I don't know. I think a lot of filtering is unique to the individual. And if you want to filter out whatever you think you want to filter out, then so be it. I think it's fine. I don't think there's really a wrong approach per se. Obviously, you can get a little too cute. I think most of us know what that looks like. But yeah, I think you can do whatever you want. AJ Love says, I cannot believe this. I did sign up for a free account on the website. Okay, well, I'll find your email address and I will send you an email with a promo code to use it for 1 month. So it'll be 1 month from when We'll see how it goes. I forget how it happens on the top of my head, but it'll be 1 month once your account becomes active for a monthly membership. So you get it through the PGA, and I think you might get it for the US Open. Maybe. I think you will. Anyways, let's move on. The first thing to talk about is the golf course, and I want to make sure that I have it up, which I don't. So I'm going to go do that really quick before I hit the transition. Okay, we are good. Here we go. Oh, that's the wrong one. Unbelievable. I fat fingered it. Unbelievable. Here we go. We'll hit the transition the right way this time. All right, we are on the golf course and tournament information segment. Like I'd mentioned in the intro, this is a new event. It is a new golf course. And I see that my data didn't filter. Are you kidding me? All right. We're going to do this really quick. I should have information where it says blank. There should be information there. Sometimes the system is a little slow to get it from my computer to the website. But I can kind of manually force it. I apologize that this wasn't good to go by the time I went live. I thought it would have been. I did this earlier in the day, so I didn't double check. I just assumed it was going to be updated. But I guess I'll riff for a little bit while I see it's publishing. It's a new golf course that the PGA Tour hasn't been on since the beginning of my data. I started collecting data in 2013. So the 2013 year and going forward has never played at the Wissahickon golf course, the Philadelphia Cricket Club. And obviously you can see that if you were to go into this page, this is the golf course stats. If you were to go into this page, you can see a lot of the course information here. I'm basically pulling a lot of this information from the tournament fact sheets. You can actually access the tournament fact sheets on the site all the way at the bottom to the quick links. You drill down on that, it'll bring you to this page. You go to the PGA Tour, you go to the Truist Championship. If I zoom in, basically a lot of the information you see here, you're going to see on my page. So the rough at 0.3, or the fairway, sorry, the rough is 3 inches, the fairway is 0.35. You can see that is the same here. Fairway is 0.35, the rough is 3 inches. 3 inches is going to be a bit thick. Just so you guys are aware, that is thick rough on the PGA Tour, meaning finding the fairway will be important. And what a lot of people have been saying around the industry, this golf course, the fairways are, not like super wide, but they're pretty forgiving. So finding the fairway isn't going to be difficult. The golf course is 7,100 yards. It's a par 70. A lot of the par 4s are pretty short. And oh, by the way, they have routing different. So if you were to go look this up, they're actually starting the tournament on hole number 8, and then they're just going to proceed from there. So hole 1 is 8, hole 2 is 9, hole 3 is 10, and it goes so on and so forth all the way until back around. So really hole 7 will be hole 18, and so on and so forth. And I think that's because hole 7 is pretty tough. I think it's probably the toughest golf course or a golf hole, or it's the toughest hole on the golf course. I think it's a par 5 for the members, but it's a par 4 for the event. And when I saw it, it is pretty tough. So I mapped out the golf course before jumping on. Let's see if this has updated. I just made the updates. I saw that they all have refreshed. Let me refresh the website and see if this will be refreshed. And it is. There we go. Perfect. Like I said, I did map it out. So again, hole 1 is actually hole 8 on the golf course, but for the event, this is what you would see it. This is what you'll see on the PGA Tour when they score it through. Hole 1 is a par 4, 365 yards. Hole 18 is a par 4, 517 yards. And yeah, that's a tough hole. That will be a very tough hole, probably be the hardest hole on the golf course. And I think they just wanted the drama of it. I wouldn't be surprised if, it comes down to the final hole and someone makes a bogey on it and loses the tournament because of it. It would not surprise me because of how tough it looks. Now, Joanne was in the chat saying that this is a second shot golf course. Yes, but I don't know. There are a lot of short par fours, like the first hole's 365. You could hit an iron off the tee box here. You could hit an iron off the tee box of hole number 2. Remember, this is hole 8, this is hole 9. And then when you go, some of these par 3s aren't super long, but what I've been hearing throughout the industry is that the greens can play firm. They can be firm and fast, and they are very tiered. So it's definitely one of those needing to know where to miss it when you hit the green. Part of me hates talking about this kind of stuff because what good does it do for what players you choose? There is no payoff most of the time going over a golf course when talking about how difficult the course is. I think short hitters and long hitters are going to be. Some people have said that driving the ball far will avoid some of the bunkers that kind of cut into the fairways. I agree, but that's on like 3 holes. It's not on every hole. It's like on 3 holes. You can obviously hit it before the bunkers. You could try to thread the needle between the bunkers. Like, there's so many ways to play this golf course. Whoever's on their game is just going to be on their game. Do I think it benefits one golfer more than another? Sure. Do we think Rory's going to win this tournament just because he hits the ball further than everyone? Probably. He's definitely the guy that has some of the greatest carry distance in the field this week. But if you aren't finding the right places on the greens, you're just going to be toast. So I honestly think this is a smart person's golf course, and someone who is very methodical in their approach is definitely going to benefit from this. So like the first names to me that come to mind would be like a Colin Morikawa, Patrick Cantlay. They're both very strategic golfers. Just throwing up, let's just throw the list of golfers on. Xander's a perfect fit for this golf course. Like, Xander's actually my favorite play this week. I think I like him more than I like Rory. The reason I don't like Rory is because I think he's a terrible wedge player. I understand that might throw some people off, but I've talked about this with so many of my friends. When we watch Rory play, think of hole 13 at Augusta when he puts it in the drink. How do you miss that far right? I think he has too much rotation in his swing for his wedge game to be on point. Scottie Scheffler is a very good wedge player because there's very little face rotation in his golf swing, whereas Rory has a lot of face rotation. If iron game is going to be very, very important this week, I don't trust Rory. At 12,000, I don't trust Rory. But it is a signature event, and I think the guy loves money, and I think he's going to do everything possible to, play well. But I guess if the greens are firm and fast, you know what? I was just thinking about this. I just thought about it. Rory's really good on firm and fast. That's always been my argument to play Rory at Arnold Palmer Invitational, because those greens are really fast and they're always really firm. And he always does pretty well. Not always. He does well on that golf course. Almost every year. So, but I like Xander more. That's more of a when I think of strategic, I think more about Xander. JT can be, but also JT can get a little too cute. So I'm probably off of JT this week. Ludwig is very surprising in the fact that it's hard to pin him down to a specific type of style. He does seem strategic to some extent. But yeah, he's I'll say this. My dummy lineup has Xander and Ludwig in it. My dummy lineup is just the lineup I reserve for all my contests. But it was a first thought process. I'm like, nah, I think this is a perfect Xander week. And then I like Ludwig to go with it. But I don't mind also doing like Xander and Patrick Cantlay. Or even Russell Henley. I'm not going to go through all these golfers, but like Hideki Matsuyama fits that mold for me. So does Corey Connors. I've heard a lot of love for Sepp Straka. I don't hate it. The guy is a machine off the tee, and as long as, you know, the putter is cooperating, I think that's fine. You know, like Sungjae would be another guy that I would find as a strategic type of golfer. Same goes with Keegan, which I know a lot of people are going to be, you know, he's going to be very popular this week because it's a Northeast golf course and everyone knows to play Keegan Bradley on the Northeast. I think he's a very strategic golfer though, so I wouldn't mind playing him. Sam Burns, because of how good he was last week with the putter and you know, the iron game, I actually do like Sam Burns this week. Not so much like a strategic golfer, in my opinion. Denny McCarthy fits that mold of a strategic golfer. So does Justin Rose. So does Aaron Rye. I would say so does Brian Harmon. Yeah, I'm not going to, like I said, I'm not going to go through everybody, but those were the top dudes that I feel like have an advantage at this golf course, just because it's going to be based off a strategy. And then it's like, you know, 3-putt avoidance, essentially, because there are a couple pin locations you're just not going to get a ball close to. And I think, you know, if Scotty Scheffler was in the field, I'd probably say Scotty by a landslide, but he's not in the field. He's taking the week off to prepare for the PGA Championship. So there's your payoff. To me, talking about a golf course, you should figure out what the payoff is. And really, there's no shot shape that really matters at this golf course. I did see 2 draws that I think when the pin's in the most difficult position on the green, or if the tee box, the furthest back tee box, or the most challenging tee box, if there's a shot shape that's required off of the tee, that's what I provided. There's only 1 draw off the tee and 1 draw on approach. Everything else doesn't really matter. And of those holes that I'm talking about, you could also hit whatever shot shape you wanted on those. But I do think it favors draws just a little bit more than fades, but it's negligible. So I wouldn't read too much into that. Now, like I said, this is a signature event, so it's a limited field, like most signature events are. This is not a player hosted player hosted tournament, so there is no cut. There are currently 72 golfers in the field. I have not yet added Patrick Rogers. Jason Day withdrew, just so you guys are aware. I've not added Patrick Rogers to the cheat sheet. So that will probably be tomorrow, I imagine, maybe tonight after I'm done streaming. But be on the look at that. Don't play Jason Day, obviously. You should have an out designation next to his name. So, yep, 72 golfers, no cut. They are, surprisingly enough, going out in tee times of 3, which I find very interesting for a signature event. It helps with the Marquee Tee Times because I have rules that go with that I'll cover later. But yeah, that's kind of all that I have for you guys when it comes to, I mean, the strength of field is 718. That's the last missing piece that I really want to talk about. Strength of field is 718. Everything else can be found on the golf course page of SweetSpotDFS.com. Bent grass, tees, fairways, and greens. You have fescue rough, which the strain of grass that fescue, or I should say the type of grass fescue is, it's a thinner leaf. So it being longer doesn't necessarily make it that much thicker. If this was like ryegrass or even bent grass that has a broader leaf, like a thicker leaf, it would be much more thick. But fescue doesn't really grow as thick. Still will be, don't get me wrong. 3 inches is still thick, but it's not super thick. So that's all I'm trying to say. So maybe the rough won't be as penal as other people are saying. Before I move on to the next segment, let me check the chat. Jamie Milne says, tough with the new venue. I agree. Golf course 20 minutes from my house, and I've never heard of it. Well, it's a country club, so I imagine that's why, with it being a private course. Heavy bunker guarded. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting bunkers located on this golf course. And I think it looks cool. Do we have like a course difficulty meter? A lot of people, so in the industry, you have a couple people that have played this golf course that talk about it being tough. I guess we just have to go with that. You know, like some people are comparing it to like Oak. Shoot, which one was it? I used to work at a golf course called Oak Hill, and that's always gets Oakmont. They're comparing it to Oakmont golf course, which the U.S. Open I think is playing this year at. And obviously the PGA Tour has played the U.S. Open before, where the winning score was what, -4 or -6, something like that. So there have been some people saying that it might be similar to that. Joanne says not going to be fast with all the rain that they have had. True. I mean, it really depends. Like, I don't know. I honestly have no idea. I've never looked at the weather saturation, the rainfall, I should say. So yeah, possible. And if that's the case, then yeah, just find guys who throw darts. Is it supposed to rain here Thursday, Friday? I have no idea. It's Tuesday night. I never really look at weather until Wednesday night. We can forecast all we want. But I don't know. Couldn't tell you. I still imagine it's going to still run a little bit firm, because even US Open venues, when there's a lot of rain, if you build a golf course that's firm, the water won't percolate, which means it won't drain down through the ground. It will just run off of all the mounds and stuff like that. So it'll still be firm. Just depends on how they set the golf course up. So it's just a guess, right? If it's when all things are equal, say there's no rain, nothing like that, this course is fast and firm. Any golf course that gets water on it will soften up. It won't be as fast. It won't be as firm, but do with that as you will. You know, I don't know if you guys have any type of, websites that you use that you can look at these conditions and stuff like that. By all means, go do so. I will have something similar to that on the website at some point in time, but not currently and not right now. Wheels Up says Noren this week. I think his short game will translate well to this course. I believe that his limited recent data and consistent play due to not having many starts will keep his ownership low. Did you know he had an injury? Can't remember which one it is, but I think it had something to do with his hips. I think. But he was on a medical absence. So, yeah, I imagine him being back means that he's healthy enough to play. But, we are always leery of playing golfers coming back from any type of injury. So, throwing that out there. I like Noren, but also very cautious. Okay, let's move on to Pass Optimal and GPP winning lineups. Okay, so this week is a bit tricky in the fact that we do not have any course information. We have no tournament information. This is we can pretend this is the Wells Fargo Championship. We can, but it isn't. So we're not going to. Here's what I advocate for y'all to do. This is SweetSpotDFS.com. This is behind a paywall. So if you want access to this site or to this page, you will need to be a paying member. What I would do, and this is out to Michael, who mentioned this. He wanted there to be a toggle where you could go to signature event versus non-signature event. And it'd be nice. I can't do that right now, though. I'd have to... It's something I could do in the future. And oh, by the way, I will be spending this Thursday and Friday just updating the website. I need the time in order to do it, and I created the time. So I'm going to be working on it this Thursday and Friday, adding more filters to the site and probably adding a new page, more of a performance page. So you can look, it'll be average finishing positions. You'll be able to see fantasy stats on there, all that good stuff. So you'll be able to use more filters. And again, I'm working on that this Thursday and Friday. I'm dedicating myself to doing it. Anyways, in the meantime, what you can do is type in each of the events that have been a signature event. So Tournament of Champions, which is called the Century. Unfortunately, in my website, it's called Tournament of Champions. Not unfortunately, I made it that way. Tournament of Champions, AT&T Pebble Beach. So just put ATT Pebble Beach. And then from there's Arnold Palmer. I'm just kind of going in order of how they played on tour. Arnold Palmer, and then you have the RBC Heritage. And then you would have the Wells Fargo, the Travelers Championship. Let's see, what else am I missing? The Memorial. Now I got to remember all the player tournaments. And then the Genesis Invitational. So let's see, what do I have here? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I believe there are only 8. Yep. And then I want to select 2024 and 2025. And what this is going to provide us is a rough estimate, a rough idea of what type of salary builds we want to put, to build our lineups around. It's not foolproof by any means, but it gives us a good idea. It gives us a good baseline as to where to start our lineups. So with all of these selections in, again, this is all filtering. You guys can filter out whatever you'd like, however you'd like. This looks at 3 different lineups: the GPP winning lineup, the optimal lineup, and the SweetSpot optimal. We just look at GPP winning lineups. The most common lineup build is a 10-8-7-7-7-6, followed by a 10-8-8-7-7-6, followed by a 10-8-8-8-7-6. What you won't see on here, I don't see a 10-9-8-7-7-6, and that's usually where I want you all to start your lineups, is a 10-9-8-7-7-6, but you can make 2 substitutions. And usually what that means is you just, again, 10-9-8-7-7-6, right? Well, the 2 substitutions for this top lineup, if we pretend this is a 10-9-8-7-7-6, we sub a 9K down to an 8K, and we sub an 8K down to a 7K, and that's your 2 substitutions. Simple as that. The other one down here, 10-8-8-7-7-6, that's simple. We sub a 9K down to an 8K. That's 1 substitution. This one is a bit, actually, it's the same thing. 10-8-8-8-7-6 is we sub a 7 up to an 8, and we sub a 9 down to an 8. So that's how we get 3 8Ks. So it still remains that 10-9-8-7-7-6 core. And again, we're only looking at GPP winning lineups for the events that we selected, which were all signature events, by the way. And then you can also do more filtering. If there was a 5K range that we wanted to remove, we could do that. Or if the max salary is too expensive, we could remove max salary by going into more filters here and saying, well, the max salary this week is 12,000. Well, how about we put in 12,400? I think 12,400 is pretty good. And we just do a max salary that way. And then we can get a more, like a little bit better idea of how these lineups look. Now it changes. 10-8-8-8-7-6, 10-9-9-7-6-6. So it's almost like the same lineup, just slightly different. And this would be more closely related to this week's event. And then, of course, if you wanted to sort by salaries, like what was the max salary used? Well, 12,300 at the 2025 Genesis Invitational, 10-9, 7, and then 3 6s. And then just, use the website to your advantage. Look to see what some of these price tags are. So this week is more or less, do we want Rory McIlroy or not? And of course, I'm looking at historical data. This isn't the Truist Championship. This isn't this week's field. So a lot of the golfers in this field weren't in any of these other fields. So it's hard to make a one-to-one comparison, but again, it is just to give you an idea where to start lineups. May I make an observation? For all the GPP winning lineups, so over the last 2 years at signature events, only one lineup out of 10 did not start with a 10K golfer. One lineup. So therefore, I would say start your lineups with a 10K golfer. And then it's up to you. Do you go with a 9K or do you go with an 8K? Do you skip the 9K range? I probably won't. But again, that's your GPP winning lineup. looking at the optimal lineup, which usually leaves a lot of money on the table. And you can see this down in this table right here. Just sort by salaries and see how much money is left on the table. 2024 AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am, where they cut the tournament short to only 3 rounds of golf, 43,100. This is the optimal lineup. It's the perfect lineup. Don't try to do that. Don't try to leave a lot of money on the table. I think that's foolish. Despite me chasing the optimal lineup, I will never leave more than $400 or more than $500 on the table. It's just stupid. Don't do it. But here you go with the optimal lineup. Even when you leave a lot of money on the table, there are only 4 lineups that didn't start with a 10K golfer. Only 4. 3 of them start with a 9K golfer. 1 of them started with an 8K golfer. And then SweetSpot Optimal always beats the GPP winning lineup, and it usually uses salaries. That's not how you word that. It uses 49,500 of the salary and up, or 49,600 of the salary and up. The reason that this says 49,005 means I probably couldn't find a better lineup that takes down a GPP. I had to leave $100 more on the table. But yes, that is what you will get here. This is getting as close to 50,000 as possible while also taking down a GPP. And when you look at the summary here, 2 times we had a 10, 10, 8, 7, 6, 6. That's actually making more than 2 substitutions. A 9 up to a 10. Oh, no, it's not. Never mind. It would be a 9 up to a 10 and a 7 down to a 6. So yeah, only 2 substitutions. Then we have 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 6, which is very close to 10, 9, 8, 7, 7, 6. We do get a 10, 9, 8, 7, 7, 6 in here as well. But again, every lineup except for 1 uses a 10K golfer in it. So it's hard to argue not to use a 10K golfer. I think we do. And then if you want to see like some of these historic salary builds, whether it's the SweetSpot Optimal, the GPP, like just for instance, if we look at the 2024 Wells Fargo Championship, this is for the SweetSpot Optimal. You can go to this page called the Past Optimal and GPP winners. You can find that on the dropdown under Past Optimals. And just click on 2024 SweetSpot Optimal and then put in Wells Fargo. And this way you can see who the golfers are. And you can sort them by salary. This was a 10, 8, 7, 7, 7, 6. And you can see exactly which golfers they were. You can see the salaries and just their, well, I was about to repeat myself and say the salaries of each of the golfers. But yes, you can see the salaries of each of the golfers and who they were, who the golfers were. Were they just no-namers or were they golfers that you knew of? And you can see the points that they scored, the raw DK points, which does not account for their placement points or just their total DK points. So you can look at all that stuff right here. 2024 Wells Fargo Championship. And then if you actually wanted to get a little bit deeper into the weeds, I would say go to the round by round stats. It might take a little while to load. I do have a strokes gain page for you all. This is going to be it's going to be the exact same thing as you're going to get on anyone else's website. Just throwing that out there. In this box up here, that's this week's field. You can put all the filters on here. I have mine going back to 2013, but if you just wanted to put in the date for this year, 2025, you can see how it just updated. You can also slide the bar however you want. You can see how many rounds the golfers have played, what their off the tee stats are, their approach around the green, putting. This is all average stats, not, total or anything like that. And then you can also come down here and see what their totals are. So Scotty Scheffler at the CJ Cup, Byron Nelson. Everyone makes the comment like he gained over 23 strokes gained total. This is adjusted. This is not raw strokes gained stats. So you might have heard 24. Yeah, well, because it was an easier golf course, they get negatively adjusted. So yes, it went down to 23.1. But you can see some of the cool stats here at SweetSpotDFS.com under the strokes gained stats. And it goes by tournament and by round. So if you wanted to go in here by round and just look at each of the rounds that Scotty played, or any golfer that you want to look at, like if you were to drill down on Rory, by the way, you can see what Rory's last tournaments were and what his strokes gained stats were. So yes, you get the full function website, just like anyone else's. And again, you can use this right here to put, go into the dates. You can either manually enter it or do this, or if you want to look at round 1 scoring. So if you're doing like first round leader stuff or like Rory McIlroy, per se, you can see a lot of this cool information this way. So again, all available to you guys at SweetSpotDFS.com. So yeah, I'm going to conclude with, I think it's easier. I mean, we always say this every single week. I shouldn't say every single week, but this week more so than other. Building your lineup around a 10K golfer just seems pretty easy, pretty simple. The more and more I think about this, the more and more I like Collin Morikawa or Xander Schauffele. I really like Xander more so than any of the other golfers. We haven't seen any of these golfers on this golf course, so it's hard to say someone has an advantage over another guy because we haven't seen how they play it. We haven't even seen how the PGA Tour is going to set it up. That's a huge deal when thinking like mapping out these golf courses, because a lot of times the PGA Tour will use all 4 tee boxes. So, typically you have the blacks, the golds, the blues, depending on which golf course you play at. Most golf courses have 4 tees: red, white, blue, and gold or black. One of the two. Sometimes there's 5 where it's gold and then there's black. Sometimes there's 6 where there's a jade color or a silver color in there. Sometimes there are 7. But normally you have somewhere between 3 to 5 different tee boxes. They will use every one of those tee boxes. So yes, the PGA Tour pros will be playing off where the red tees are played sometimes. Believe it or not. Believe it or not. It just sets up the course different. Makes some of the holes a little easier, some of the holes a little more challenging. But they do it that way. They set it up that way. So it's not a one size fits all when it comes to, which golf course or which golfers are going to be, or which golfers are going to have an advantage this week. But yes, again, I'm looking for strategic golfers. I want Collin Morikawa in my lineup. I want Xander Schauffele in my lineup. Probably Cantlay, probably Henley, and then go from there. I don't know if I really just want raw scorers, like say Rory. Rory is a raw scorer. Yeah, don't get me wrong. He can play strategic, but that's usually not his strong suit. His strategic. His is just raw power, raw talent. Same kind of goes with Hovland. Like, I want to think Hovland is a strategic-minded golfer, but I don't know. He just seems more of a raw scoring type of golfer. Same goes with Ludwig. My 2 cents. But again, I'm talking about 10K golfers, and I think it's hard to go wrong, I think, with any of these 10K golfers. If Justin Thomas has come into his own, like, obviously he just won at the RBC Heritage. If he has come into his own, the Justin Thomas we had hoped he would have been like 5, 6, 7 years ago, and moving forward, this is also another good golf course for him, because irons are going to be a premium, and I think this guy hits iron shots pretty well. He doesn't hit his driver very well, but he hits his iron shots pretty well. So I guess I don't mind going to JT. Moral of the story: I like everybody in the 10K range more so than Rory McIlroy. Throwing that out there. Hot take. Anyways, let's see. Before I go to the next segment, David Steele. What's going on, man? I like Harmon this week. Seems like a great course fit. I guess I don't disagree. Everything I kind of just said, I just don't know. I haven't seen the course set up. I don't know how long it's going to play. I just don't know. I don't know how firm it's going to be. If you like Harmon, perfect. That's wonderful. I got nothing against it. Okay. Let's move on to a review of the CJ Cup. The CJ Cup Byron Nelson. You got to keep the Byron Nelson in there because that's the more prestigious part of the tournament, is the Byron Nelson part. I go over 36 buckets every single week. And this week is or last week was no different. There were 36 buckets. We discussed them. I went over the bucket system, and of all 36 buckets, the 6 stat categories that I have and the 6 stats within those, or the 6 ranges, I should say, within those stats, we get 36 total buckets, and all 36 were successful. So what I mean by that is I project based off of the success rate of the bucket. You know, if we're looking at last year, the success rate of the bucket, how many golfers are in that bucket this week? What is the strength of field points that are going towards that bucket? Like, how quality is that bucket? Is it a bunch of scrubs that just happened to have top 20 last year? Or could some of these guys be like the #1 golfer in the world? So obviously that wasn't the case for the last year 1 bucket, but those things all go into the projection. So I have a minimum and a maximum projection. This minimum and maximum reads 1.14 to 1.91. Now we always round down with the minimum. We always round up with the maximum. So this actually would go 1 to 2. But because I want a 2-point buffer between them, and we always bring the minimum down 1 if possible, this would actually turn to a 0 to 2 bucket. And what I counted this week, there was 1 golfer from that bucket inside the top 10. 0 were in the optimal lineup. And then also 0 were in the sweet spot optimal. So just the fact that this alone, 1, fit inside the projection, that made that bucket successful. If, say, that failed, we would go to the optimal lineup and see if that number also fit inside the projection. And if it did, that's a yes. So you want to cross-reference me, or you want to, check my work? Screenshot the screen, or pause the video and then take a screenshot, and you can go and look. But of all the top 10s and all the optimal lineups, those numbers fit into the projections. So 36 out of 36 buckets were correct. The other piece that I go over are the Marquee Tee Times. So we'll take a look at that really quick. And basically the rules here are you want 2 to 4 golfers, 2 to 4 from the Marquee Tee Times to build your lineups around. Build your lineups around them. And the other rule that goes with it, you do not pair up golfers from the same group. And guess what? Same thing applies for last week. So I am highlighting every 3rd golfer, or every 3 golfers, because there were 3 golfers in a tee time last week. And there you have it. That's all the golfers are. I'm sorry. Speaking too fast. I have 9 total Marquee Tee Times. That means 27 total golfers. Just think of that. It's a group or a pool of 26 or 27 golfers. I'm telling you to select 2 to 4, and then of the 9 groups, only select 2 to 4 of those groups and pick 1 golfer out of them each. So out of group 1, despite Jordan Spieth finishing 4th, because his price tag was $10,500, you could not roster him and the event winner, Scottie Scheffler. Scottie Scheffler won the tournament handily, like by what, 8 shots? And he scored 177 points. I think Jordan Spieth was 2nd place. I could be slightly wrong, but Jordo was like 3rd. He was 2nd, 3rd, or 4th for scoring. And it was close between him and 2nd, 3rd, or 4th place. You see there's a 50-point gap between Jordo and Scottie. 50. I don't know all the bonuses that Scottie Scheffler had, but I know he had all rounds under 70. That's a 5-point bonus. Let's just pretend he birdie streaked each one of the days. That's 3 points per birdie streak. So say that's 12 points. We take 12 points off of that. We take 12, we take 5 off, that's 17. But if we're going to take those birdie streaks away, that means we also have to take birdies away. So let's take 4 birdies away. Let's just take 4 birdies away. That's another 12 points. 12. And I'm doing this as raw. You would want, obviously you add the the pars to them instead, and those are half points, but who cares? I'm just making a point here. 12 plus 17. We've already removed 17 points away for all the streaks and the rounds under 70. Let's also do the birdies that we also took away. 4 birdies. That's so far we're at 29 points we're taking away. But if he had any bogey free rounds, let's take those off. I don't know how many he had. He didn't have 4. I know that for certain. But let's pretend that's 4. That's another additional 3 points. So let's take 12 away as well. So 29 plus 12, that's 41. 41 minus 177 is 136. 136 still beats everybody. Now that's where it becomes a little bit trickier. If all of those things were taken away, would he still have paid off his price tag? Or would you have wanted Jordan Spieth instead? Before I show you that, I just want to come back to the Marquee Tee Times. The little black tick marks here indicate optimal lineup golfers. You can see they're all spread out and they're not paired up together. It's 3. 3 optimal lineup golfers. What did I say in the beginning? 2 to 4 golfers you want to pick. I do this every single week. People in the chat that have been here before, they can back me up on this. I do this every single week. Some people think this is unquantifiable. Whatever. I don't care. A lot of stats are unquantifiable. Or not so much a lot of stats. A lot of things in life are unquantifiable. I keep track of these stats. They will be quantifiable over time. If I need to give you a reason as to why I think this works out, is because psychology. And that is something that you can't quantify. But if you're a competitive golfer, you understand that you can either draft off the golfers you play with, or you back off, or you excel. One of the 3 things. So say you're playing with your buddy, you go golfing, he's playing well, that can do one of 2 things to you. It might piss you off because you know you're a better golfer than him and you're not golfing as well as him, or you can be happy about it. And that happiness might boost your game up. Golf Digest did an article back in the 90s. It was late 90s, early 2000s. What impact does negativity have on your golf game? It said it impacted your game by 15%, meaning you were 15% less successful if you had negative thoughts going through your mind. I understand this is a lot of hoopla for most people, but that's the fact of the matter. You're playing with someone like against Scottie Scheffler. Now, Jordan and Siwoo Kim kind of held their own. They both played pretty decent. It wasn't super good. What's a par 71? So 4 or 5. They made the cut by 2. I think the cut was 5 under, and they both finished Thursday and Friday. After Thursday and Friday, they were 6 under. 6 under each. And then Scottie was what, like 19 or 17 under, something like that. So Scottie was way ahead of them. But it didn't deter them. They still played good golf. The rest of these you can kind of see. Look at this. So Eric Cole finished 5th. His playing partner, Henrik Norlander, finished 45th. He made the cut on the number. I was paying attention because I needed him to make the cut for some of my lineups. Alex Smalley was one of those guys I played a lot of. He finished 39th. Not even close to the top 10, not even close to the top 5. Same thing with Kurt Kitayama. If you were in the members only, which was actually open to the public, I was talking about how, hey, this would actually be a week to be on Kurt Kitayama because of the bucket system, not because of some strokes gained analysis or anything like that, because the bucket system was telling us, hey, Kurt Kitayama fits these performance trends. Let's put him in. We should put him in a couple lineups. I didn't put him in a lot because it's Kurt Kitayama, but I also didn't ignore him. When the optimizer selected him, I put him in my lineups. I just didn't put it together, the right 6 golfers together with Kurt Kitayama. But you can see Davis Riley, 45th, Matt Kuchar, 56. Go down to Sam Stevens, who finished 3rd. His 2 guys missed the cut. Aldrich Potgieter, which is one of your guys' favorite golfers, and Ryan Gerard. If you want to know a natural way to pivot, if you're a big ownership guy, pivot to somebody who's in the Marquee Tee Time with the golfer that you want to pivot away from. So Ryan Gerard being 14%, I imagine he was probably a lot of people's picks of being a really high owned golfer. Pivot to one of the other two. Obviously, Aldrich would have been well, he's in the 6K range. You never fall in love with a 6K golfer. Maybe that's how you get on Sam Stevens. And then when I look at the Marquee or the SweetSpot Optimal, that's the green salaries here. There were 4 of them. The blue salary were the GPP winners. There are 4 of them. The Marquee Tee Times just constantly, they hit every single week. And I don't care what all the data nerds have to say about it. I really don't. It works out because it's golf. That's why it works out. And I can get more into it, but honestly, it just works out. When I look at 2025, just each of the lineups, your optimal lineup left $900 on the table. It scored 787 points. The GPP winning lineup scored 751. That's pretty darn good, by the way. And we'll go back to the Scheffler. If I were to take 41 points away from him, I'll do that here shortly. The SweetSpot Optimal scored 776. That's 20 points, 25 points. Yeah, 25 more points than the GPP winning lineup. Both of those lineups used up 50,000 of the salary. They both started with Scheffler, Van Rooyen, and Sam Stevens. Oh, and Eric Cole. So it had 4 of those golfers together. The SweetSpot Optimal had Takumi Kanaya and Matt McCarty, whereas the GPP had Kurt Kitayama and Joseph Bramlett. Now, if you take 41 points away from Scottie Scheffler, and I mentioned this just recently, we're taking away all of his bonuses, taking away the 4 birdies that go with his bonuses. We would be taking away 41 points from him. So he'd be at 136. Oh, EVR would have scored 144. Interesting. I don't know how it would have shaped out. Maybe Scheffler still gets, a few more. Let's just pretend it's still 136. Because EVR was 6,700 and then Sam Stevens there is 7,600. If we do what the optimal lineup was and I take 41 points away, we actually have a better Jordan Spieth lineup, I guess. So the optimal scored 787. Let's see, Jordo. I think it's just these guys right here, right? That's 49,100. That scores 735.5. We take 41 points away from this, and we get 746. It still beats a Jordan Spieth led lineup. So you take all the bonuses away from Scott Scheffler, and Scotty putting Scotty in your lineup, still better than doing, trying to get the cost savings of going to Jordan Spieth. And by the way, you're not building this lineup because it leaves $900 on the table. I'm sorry, none of you guys are good enough to do that. I'm not good enough to do that. Leaving $900 on the table, that's insane. No one's building that lineup. Maybe if you take out Will Gordon, and you put in Ricky Castillo, that's 728. You still lose. That would be an easier lineup to build. You'd be leaving $300 on the table. You're just not doing. I mean, you could do that lineup, but you're still not winning. Not without Scotty Scheffler. So I know I had mentioned that I was still going to play 30% of Scotty Scheffler no matter what, and I did. I played 40%. It was 42%, I want to say. I didn't even make my money back because 40% of people, 48% of people played Scotty Scheffler. So you had to be pretty darn perfect in order to win. So here you go for all of the game theory bros out there. Last week, Scotty Scheffler being the price tag he is, there's no amount of game theory that's going to help you win a GPP with Scott Scheffler in the field. This as weak as it was, and it being in Texas, and it's Scotty Scheffler. So yeah, it's not happening, right? Should I hop off of Hovland, says Phil Auer? I don't know. How high do you think ownership is going to be? I have no idea. I didn't even think you'd be popular. Okay. That was a review of the CJ Cup Byron Nelson. I wanted to go through that exercise with taking points away from Scotty Scheffler. I said I was going to do that to a friend, and I wanted to, so there we have it. All right, we're actually going to get into the bucket system, which we are going to build manually online or here on the stream. So I'm going to hit you with that transition, and we're going to get right into it. Okay, like I said, there's no bucket system this week. I'm gonna close out of the CJ Cup. This is the Truist, and if I go to my page, it is completely empty. And that is because this is a brand new event. It replaces the Wells Fargo Championship. We've never played the golf course, the Wissahickon course at the Philadelphia Country Club. Or the Philadelphia Cricket Club. Sorry, the Cricket Club, not the Country Club, the Cricket Club. But I'm sure it's a country club. Private course. Here's what we're going to do. I have all of the signature events loaded up. And we're going to look at each one of their summaries. Because each of the summaries will tell us what the bucket system was for each one of those. And currently it's just loaded into whatever the most recent one was. So some of these are in 2025, some of these are in 2024. I think what I want to do is start with the tournament that was just previous, which was the RBC Heritage. And basically what I want to do is just go over, we can't really do last year stats. We can't do last year, and we can't do course history. So we're going to ignore those. I'm going to hide them, actually. Let's do that. We're going to hide those two and take a look at everything else. So playing the week before mattered at the RBC Heritage, but the RBC Heritage it followed the Masters. So right away, I mean, for the RBC Heritage, can't really do anything with last week. Looking at last week's stats is not going to do anything for us. Now, we can get kind of a global sense, you know, like I'm going to look at each of these numbers relatively close. So like last week too, having a 20 to 40 finish, 1 to 3, honestly, is probably going to be 0 to 3. In my opinion, for like this week. Because it was the CJ Cup Byron Nelson. I don't even know how many people were playing last week. I can take a look right here. I can go ahead and put a filter on this and just exclude all the blanks. How many people do we have that played last week? 18. 18 total people. So that actually, yeah, that would be a 0 to 2 bucket. All of these will be 0 to 2s for last week, for sure. And I'm just going to throw that on the screen right now. So last week, it's going to be 0 to 2. I just know this is true. This is how it's always been for each of these. And this is going to be a 3 to 6 bucket. The last week's 6s. Golfers who did not play last week. That will be a 3 to 6 bucket. I already know it. I already know it off the top of my head. I already know it. I've done this long enough. Trust me. Just trust me. It will be 3 to 6. And when we take a look at the Truist, essentially, these are all the golfers who played last week, right? We can sort them by the ranges that they're playing out of. So basically, this is last week bucket 1 because they're in the top 20. Do you want to play more than 2 of these golfers? I don't. So that's definitely a 0 to 2 bucket. For sure, it's a 0 to 2 bucket. There aren't 2 golfers here that give me so much confidence that I have to play more than 2. This bucket here, this would be last week bucket 3 because it's in that 20 to 40 range. Sung Jae and Michael Thorbjornsen. It's definitely not a 1 to 2 bucket. There's only 2 golfers in it. We can make it a 0 to 2 bucket, but if we're being, if we're being responsible, we should make this a 0 to 1 bucket. I don't see Sung Jae and Michael Thorbjornsen being in the optimal lineup or even in the sweet spot optimal. I just don't see it. So that's what I'm going to do. Actually, I'm going to change that to a 0 to 1 bucket. So that's this one right here. Last week 3, 0 to 1. Rasmus Højgaard, Steven Yeager, Benny Ann, Cam Davis. That's a 0 to 2, and I have no issues with that. The only question the only thing that I would ever question would be, would this be a 0 to 3 bucket or would this be a 1 to 3 bucket? I don't think so. There's only 4 golfers. None of them are elite. And the highest price guy is Benny Ann at 7,300. I don't trust it, don't want it, and I'm not going to go with it. So it's a 0 to 2 bucket. That's easy. And then this one would be your last week 5 or 4 buckets. No, sorry. It'd be your last week 5 buckets. These are golfers who missed the cut or withdrew from last week's event. You got Ben Griffin, Taylor Penrith, Ryan Gerard, Jacob Bridgman, Austin Eckroat, and Brian Campbell. That's a 0 to 2 bucket. I don't have to say anything more. None of those golfers are good enough to be like, ooh, we need to play at least one of them. And the highest price guy is 7,200. So now that we have that cleared up, our last week bucket is completed. And we didn't even have to look at any of the other events. I didn't look at any of the other events because it just wasn't necessary. I'm wondering why these are all filled in. I think I need to change those all to 6s. Because this is the last year bucket, and I'm not using last year stats of any kind. Course history, yes, but not last year. And I'll tell you what I did with course history. So we'll drop that down, and now I can include everything. One thing I want you guys to see what I did for course history. This is an eyesore for most of you guys. I understand that. But it starts 2024 Tournament of Champions, again, called the Century. 2024 Pebble Beach, 2024 Genesis, 2024 API, 2024 RBC Heritage, 2024 Wells Fargo Championship, the Memorial, Travelers. Those are all your 2024 signature events. This is what I did for course history, which is just tournament history, all the signature events of the last 2 years. Then I went, again, Tournament Champions, Pebble Beach, Genesis, API, RBC Heritage, and obviously the golfers that are playing have the little P next to them, the Truist. Now, the issue with doing it this way, if I put a filter on this, these are all the golfers in the field, 72 of them. Yeah, 72. This also includes Patrick Rogers. This one does include Patrick Rogers. One golfer does not have any experience, and that's Garrick Higo. He has 0 experience in the signature events. So from here, if I sort from top to bottom, you can see Daniel Berger and Andrew Novak have the best performances at signature events, the best averages. Danny Berger finished 3rd at the RBC Heritage, 15th at the API, and 12th at the Genesis, all this last year. It's a good play. Now, what I've done with course history buckets in the past is that you would go, they're in these ranges, and I'll show you. Most of you guys already know this, but let me find the one I was just at. Was it the RBC Heritage? Yeah. And I will zoom in just a little bit more so you guys can see it better. I have these ranges. 0 to 20, 20 to 40, 40 to 60, 60 to 80, 80 plus, and did not play. Those are universal ranges that I've used every single year for every single bucket system. Well, we don't really have a lot of golfers. Actually, we do. Never mind. I'm just kidding. This actually works out perfectly. I think that's how it's also set up, right? So we could actually look at course history buckets. There are 5 golfers here. Let's take, I want to just double check. Is this the same? I think it is. Berger, Novak, Kawa, Oberg. So 4. Yeah, 4. Xander's not in that bucket 1. Do I have this set up that way? I do. Lovely. I've got the course history bucket set up. I love that. Cool. I think I have that also on the optimizer. Morikawa, Oberg, Berger, Novak. Perfect. Okay, cool. We have it. We have it all set up for okay, so we can actually talk about course history. Huh. I think this will be a bit different though, guys. I think this will be a bit different. I think we need to go through this bucket by bucket and try to figure out really how this is going to play out. Okay. I'm actually going to find the course history buckets. And I think we follow what most of these course history buckets are going to be. 0 to 2, 2 to 5, 1 to 3. I think how most of these are going to look is very similar. This one's different. Tournament of Champions is a bit different. 3 to 6, 1 to 3, 0 to 2. But there's only 3 golfers in that bucket. And the strength of field points weren't very good. That's also something to look at with the Truist, by the way. Course history here would be 1 to 3, 2 to 4, or maybe 1 to 4, 1 to 3. I think that's just what we're going to see. The numbers are so similar. There's 7 in this bucket. That's a 1 to 3. It's close to 0 to 3. And then it's a 1 to 4 with 20 golfers in it. And then it's a 1 to 3 with 20 golfers in it as well. I think that's probably what's going to be very similar. So we have 4 golfers, and we're going to go through each of these just because I want to see what the golfers look like. And we'll put salaries on top. We have Morikawa, Oberg, Berger, Novak. You could play all 4 of those guys. 10, 9, 8, 10, 9, 8, 7. Oh man, I don't know if I would though. And this is different than how I typically do it. This is just looking at every shoot. This is just looking at every signature event. This includes kind of recent form involved as well. This isn't actually course history. I do want to use this. Won't lie. So here's the dilemma I have. Am I doing 0 to 3 or am I doing 0 to 2? I think this is maybe a 0 to 3 bucket. How many strength of field points? 77 strength of field points are going towards it. What do we typically see? If there's 77, this doesn't really show us. It's a lot of strength of field points here. 1 4. How big was this? 762. Well, we're at 716. Okay, so that means there's a lot of strength of field points in the other buckets. Yeah. Okay. It looks something like this. That's what this one would be. It's very close to that. So yeah, it's a 0 to 2 bucket. Okay. So course history, 0 to 2. And it's just those 4 golfers that I mentioned. We'll go back. It's the 4 golfers, Morikawa, Oberg, Berger, and Novak. So we're saying we want 0 to 2 out of those. When we look at course history 2s, there's several more golfers in here. There's 45. 45. Do we even see that anywhere else? 5. Everything is pretty split up. If we do see something over 45, it's a 2 to 5. This might be a 3 to 6 bucket. Actually, no, it probably won't be. And we got to be smart about it. And I'll tell you what we need to do. I just want to look at all the other course histories just to see, okay, here's one right here. It's another 2 to 5. Course history 3s, because there's 30 golfers in that bucket. Let's see here. Yeah, this isn't the same. 71 total golfers, and it's all split out. This bucket, though, so there's 16 total golfers in the bucket we're actually looking at for the Truist. This is for the Travelers, and this is a 2 to 4. And that's really the only one to look at. So here, hold on. Let's go to course history 3. So we'll come back to course history 2. Course history 3. We have 20 golfers in that bucket. Now, when we see something like 20, it's 1 to 3. There's that there. This is different. Something like that. That's 1 to 3 also. Arnold Palmer, we're looking for like 20 golfers. Okay, that's 2 to 4, but then there's 1 to 3 here. This is the bucket we're looking at, so 1 to 3. I think that's probably going to be what we got to do is 1 to 3. This one's 2 to 5. 30 in that one, that's a 2 to 5er, but if we went and looked at this one, that's 1 to 4. Here's one similar, that's 1 to 3 as well. Okay. So, see, who do we have? Yeah, if you look at all the golfers, there's nothing that's like, you know what I'm going to make this one? This is going to be a 0 to 3. I don't even know if I even like 0 to 3. 20 total golfers. Strength of field points that go into this, 109. Let's take a look at strength of field in these other ones that say 109. 137 is 0 to 2 right here. 70 right here with 3, that's a 0 to 2. We don't have a very good representation for course history in this tournament. Wells Fargo, 107 is 0 to 2. Nothing here for the Arnold Palmer that's similar. We're not going to find the same thing there. And then here, 1 to 3 for 189. We need 109, like 110. I think it's a 0 to 2 bucket. I'm not even going to budge on it. I think course history 3 is 0 to 2. And I can tell you course history 4 is going to be 0 to 2, if not 0 to 1. Just one guy. So yeah, 0 to 1. How about course history 5? Oh no, course history 6. Okay, so 0 to 1, 0 to 1. Let's go ahead and pull those up. So this will be 0 to 1. There is nothing in there, and then 0 to 1. So realistically, I want this number to be around 15. It's at 12. It has to be over 10 no matter what. I think that's fine. I think we'll be fine here, and this is going to be 3 to 6. I would want to bump this down to 5. So course history 2 is 3 to 6. Everything else is going to be updated like this. I don't have last year 1 stats. There's no such thing. I'm not including last year 1 stats. Looking at the other one would be recent form, the recent form buckets. AJ says run the optimizer with those 4. Are you talking about the 4 golfers from the course history 1 bucket? Okay. Let's go here. And now we want to look at recent form 1s. So when we look, now recent form 1 is your best recent form coming into an event. There were 5 golfers at the RBC Heritage, and that was a 0 to 2. How many do we have this week? 10. Okay. So that's going to be different. There were 20, let's see, hold on. There were 22 going into the century. That was a 3 to 6. 9. Okay, this is a good number. 1 to 3. It's actually pretty good. With 213 as strength of field. That's probably really close to what we have. 198. Yeah, that's almost exactly. Arnold Palmer, 1 to 3. That bucket was a 1 to 3 bucket. See if we can try to boost it to, well, no, because the strength of field here is stronger than it is at the Truist. Okay. Wells Fargo is a new one to look at. Here we go, another one. 1 to 3, perfect. 189. This is exactly what we're looking for, because those numbers are very similar. 8 golfers here, 1 to 3. So it's a 1 to 3 bucket, no matter what. Recent form 1 is 1 to 3. I'm not even going to look at the golfers that were in that bucket anymore because that's just what it is. 1 to 3. And there are 3 10K golfers. So that just helps out with it altogether. Perfect. Recent form 2. And this is, by the way, traditional recent form stats. So it's good to look at this. We have a total of 20 golfers and the strength of field is 169. So recent form, 20 golfers, 169. This one's a little bit more and it's 2 to 5. Don't have anything similar there. Arnold Palmer, we have 25 with 216. That's a 1 to 4 bucket. I think that's probably what we're going to see. It's going to be 1 to 4. RBC Heritage was 2 to 5. This one's 1 to 4. Close to being 2 to 4, by the way. And then what do we have here? Same thing, kind of, not really. This is a 2 to 5. 30 golfers here. That's a 2 to 5. Recent form 2. We have 20 golfers. That's also a 2 to 4, but it's technically a 1 to 4. I think we got that one figured out. That will be a 1 to 4 bucket. If you get the optimizer and you want to mess around with it, by all means do so. We're making that a 1 to 4 bucket. Yeah, recent form 1. 1 to 3. Normally that's like a 0 to 2 or a 0 to 3 bucket. I forget, how many golfers did we have in that bucket? And by the way, looking at the golfers in this group, I'm cool with 1 to 4. Absolutely cool with 1 to 4. I wouldn't want to play more than 4 golfers from this bucket. But going back to here, what do we have? 10 golfers and 3 of them are 10K and above. So there's a good chance you can only play 1 of them. So if you're playing one of these guys, let's just pretend all 3 of them finish inside the top 10. One guy from here is what we'd want to put in our lineup. And I got no issue. By the way, Mav McNeely, one of the best golfers in signature events. If I were to go back to course history, look at this. Where was he? If I go by top 10 percentage, top to bottom, Mav McNeely is at the top. He has a 50% top 10 rate. Maverick McNeely, by the way. A missed cut at the 2025 API, 3rd RBC Heritage, 2nd Genesis Invitational, 40th Pebble Beach, that's not great. 8th at the Tournament Champions. 39th at the Pebble Beach Pro-Am also. So not great at the Pebble Beach Pro-Am, which is the golf course he grew up on. His dad's a member of, who has a house on the property. Oberg is 2nd. 54th was his worst finish at the RBC Heritage. Again, these are top 10 rates. This is sorted by the best top 10 rates. Shane Lowry's 3rd. JT's 4th. Morikawa's 5th. Sungjae's 6th. Henley is 7th. Straka is 8th. Xander's 9th. And Burgertown is 10th. Interesting. What is Xander's top 10 rate? 36.36, 36. Okay. Sungjae, by the way. Oof. I like that play. Okay. So we do have McNeely, we have Shane Lowry, and we got okay, yeah. This is easy to be a 1 to 3 bucket. Simple. Because we have Berger, Lowry, and McNeely, all dudes that we see up here. McNeely, Berger, Lowry. All in this bucket, by the way. So yeah, we're doing that. It's gonna stay at 1 to 3. Just had to double check. All right, recent form 3 bucket. How many golfers do we have? 28, and our strength of field points are 271. Basically 10 strength of field points per golfer. 28, 271. All right. So this one's not super close, but that's a 2 to 4. We're kind of looking at that bucket right now, right? Oh, yeah, never mind. 2 to 4, maybe 1 to 4. Similar, but not. Kind of, but not. Can't do it with the Tournament Champions. This one's perfect. 1 to 3, maybe a 1 to 4 bucket. Wells Fargo, not quite. So it's more like this bucket, which is a 2 to 5 bucket. This one is somewhat close, not enough strength of field points, same amount of golfers. It's a 1 to 3. I'm leaning 1 to 4. Yeah, not the same here. And this is a 1 to 4 bucket, almost a 2 to 4 bucket. Yeah, let's go 1 to 4. Primarily because I think I feel more comfortable. So let's see here. I do like Morikawa. I do like Oberg. I like Henley. I like Decky. I like a lot of these dudes. I don't want to force 2, but I don't mind up to 4. Yeah, there's enough golfers in here to be up to 4. That's fine. 1 to 4 with this bucket as well. Recent form 3s. Okay. Going to recent form 4s. There are 11 golfers, including a guy who withdrew last week, Will Zalatoris. I don't know why. Doesn't make me feel comfortable. 69 strength of field points. Nice. And 11 golfers. Okay, let's see. Can we find something similar? Here's 11 and 76. 0 to 2. Okay, that one was easy. We're not going to see the same here. Almost the same here, and that's a 0 to 1. I think it's just 0 to 2. Kind of the same here, 0 to 2. Kind of the same here, 0 to 2. Yeah, lots of 0 to 2s. So, yep, we're going to do 0 to 2. Recent form 4, 0 to 2. And what do we have for the rest? Five. Just Nick Dunlap. And 6, Alex Noren. Yep. Hasn't played in forever. We have the return of Alex Noren. So those are all going to be 0 to 1 buckets. Obviously, there's only one golfer in each of those buckets. All right. We're almost done. We finished last week. We finished course history. We finished recent form. And we're happy with the buckets that we've seen. Again, I'm reviewing every signature event bucket field bucket system that I have, and we're just going bucket by bucket, seeing what this week compares to other of those other signature events, and trying to figure out, the projections, how many golfers we can expect to finish inside the top 10 from each of those buckets. Now let's go to strokes gain. This one is going to be a little bit more simple. We just sort by the strokes gain bucket. And I have 14 strokes gain 1 golfers that make up of 260. Wow. Okay. Strokes gain 1. That's pretty darn close. 2 to 5 at the RBC Heritage. Pretty darn close. Not quite, but close enough. That's 2 to 4. So 2 to 5, 2 to 4 is what we're kind of looking at with this bucket. This one's a bit heavy. This is heavier than the one that we have. This is 2 to 5. 301 for strength of field versus 260. 14,260. Okay. 17,301. That's 2 to 5. 2 to 4, 2 to 5 is what I'm kind of looking at. This one's exactly the same number. This is a 2 to 5. Strokes gain here. Pretty darn close to being exactly the same. This is a 2 to 4. It's a 1 to 4 actually. Oof. What do you guys think? 1 to 4 or 2 to 5? It fluctuates. We have 14 golfers this week, and the strength of field points is 260. So Travelers Championship does not reflect that. Look at this one. This one's 15 with 268. This is almost identical. 2.02, I most likely would round that down to 1. And then max would be 4. 1 to 4 for the Memorial. Wells Fargo, again, this week we have 14 golfers in the bucket with the strength of field's 260. Wells Fargo Championship last year was pretty much identical. 15 in that field from that bucket and 258. So 2 points off of being in the same strength of field points and 1 off in this year. 2 to 5. Oh, man. Yeah, this is tough. This one's a bit off. There's more golfers and the strength of field's high, and that's a 2 to 5 bucket. And RBC Heritage, it's a bit high as well. There's 2 extra golfers in the RBC Heritage this year, and then 27 extra strength of field points. That was a 2 to 5 as well. I guess we err on the side of caution and go 2 to 5. Actually, let's look at the golfers. My bad. Let's take a look at the golfers. We have 3 guys, 10K and above. These 6K golfers like Gerard and Adam Scott, it's all pretty expensive. So I don't think we can go 2 to 5. I think 1 to 4 is the key. I think we want to do 1 to 4. The average salary is $8,700. Let's take a look at those. So this one, not close. It was the Memorial was the closest. Average price tag was $8,607. So that was more forgiving for price tag, and that was 2 to 4. Wells Fargo was pretty darn close as well. And the average price there was $87.87. 5 finished inside the top 10. Only 1 was in the optimal lineup. Okay. 1 was in the sweet spot optimal. So I must have saw that and was not comfortable with it being 2. So I must have went 1 to 5. Okay. Interesting. This one is a bit heavy, but we can still use the same thing. Price tag was $83.41. 2 in the sweet spot optimal. Huh. I think I've seen enough. I think it's 1. I think it's 1 to 4. 1 to 4 is going to be the projection for the, yep. Because I just don't see, when you look at this year's total for that bucket, I just don't see anything more than 2 for the maximum. And it has 1 in there a lot. Yeah, I'm cool with 1 to 4. 1 to 4 for stroke chain 1. You know what? I just saw the time. We're at 1:37. Let's do a roll call. Type in the number 1. That's all you got to do. Number 1. The number 1 in the chat is going to be our first roll call for the new monthly giveaway as well as the weekly giveaway. Thank you all for being here, by the way. I know I'm kind of going through this a little archaically, but I mean, this is how I used to do it way back in the day. Way back in the day. Before I automated everything with formulas. This reminds me, the acronym TRUE just reminds me of like true crime, the true crime show or channel. I'll wait for other people. By the way, I'm typing the number 1 in the chat. If you come across this and there are people that are messaging afterwards, you are not caught up. You are not caught up. Hit the live button over there to the left. Make sure that you're all the way forward. Make sure that you are current with me. That way, you know, if I do ask you questions, you're here, present, able to answer them on the button. Okay. So we got strokes gained 1 figured out. Now we got to do strokes gained 2. And for this one, we have Victor Hovland down to EVR. That's 17 total golfers, and the strength of field points that go into this, 155. 17, 155. Okay. So that's similar to what we've seen in the past. I'm going to actually start the Travelers. 17 and 155. Okay, that's pretty much this. 1 to 3. That's pretty much this. 1 to 3. Pretty much this. This is 0 to 2. Pretty much this. 1 to 3. 1 to 3. Okay, 1 to 3. Good enough. We've seen enough. 1 to 3 strokes gained 1 golfers. Now we go to strokes gained 3. Probably have a little bit more here. 20 golfers. 176. Okay. 20, 176. Not quite the same here. But it's like 1 to 3, basically. Not quite, but that's 1 to 3 as well. Here's something close. This is like 1 to 3, 0 to 3. I might make it a 0 to 3. This one's closer than that one, but they're both pretty similar. Here's a good one. 1 to 3. This one's a bit more, but this is also just 1 to 3. Let's take a look at the golfers again. Yeah, there's enough good golfers here to make this a 1 to 3 bucket. Okay. I just did a really quick look. I didn't actually go over it with you guys, but it was good enough for me. Strokes gained 4. Starts with Russell Henley and then drops straight into the 7K range. There's 14 golfers. 14 and 99 strength of field points. I do want to go over these just carefully. So 14.99, that's still 0 to 2, but we did have 2 in the optimal lineup for RBC Heritage. Skip into the API or skipping the TOC. 1 here. Pretty close to what we see this week. Wells Fargo would be this one. There were 2 in the Sweet Spot optimal. So 0 to 2 is going to be fine here. We had 3 in the optimal lineup for the Memorial. There's 24 total golfers, 137. I forget, what did we have again? 99. 99 strength of field and 14. So way off with the Memorial. We don't have to worry about 3. I think 2 is the number. 0 to 2. Yeah, even okay, 0 to 2. I'm sold. 0 to 2. And then strokes gained 5. I'm just going to go 0 to I'm just doing 0 to 2 for these. I don't know how many golfers are in any of those buckets, but 0 to 2 is fine enough. We don't have to worry about that. And then 10Ks, I mean, well, we have 4 golfers in the 10K range, so that's 0 to 2 no matter what. It just always will be 0 to 2. Even though I'm telling you guys we do want to play a 10K golfer, I'm going to keep it 0 to 2. Simplest thing. Simplest way. So yeah, 4 here. 6, which is 6 is pretty much on the money. Usually you see somewhere between 5 to 8 9K golfers, and we're at 6. We have more than 2? I don't think so. No, I'm looking at the names. I just don't see more than 2 golfers being the optimal lineup. Just ain't gonna happen. 8K range. 10, which is exactly the same amount of 8K golfers we see in every single event. Matsuyama, Connor, Straka, Berger, Lowry, Im, McNeely. You know what? This is a 0 to 3 bucket. Definitely a 0 to 3 bucket. I could see if you wanted to start out 10, 8, 8, I can see that working out. 7Ks. 20 of them. I think that's pretty common. I think this will always be a 1 to 3 bucket no matter what. Let's just take a look though. Let's double check what we've seen. 20, 1 to 3. That's RBC Heritage. 17, or sorry, 18, 1 to 3. Oh, you know what? Let's take a look to see how many actually finished inside the optimal lineup. Let's scroll over just a little bit. We're going to do something like this. Yeah, this is fine. That way you can see the minimum, the maximum, the projection. And this is kind of what I'm looking at right here. This information here for the 7K range. There's only one. The Truist, or for the Century, only one in the optimal. Arnold Palmer going up to the 7K range. That's right here. 3 in the optimal lineup. 20 golfers, 168 is the strength of field. 168. But the projection was 1 to 3, or 0 to 3, I should say. Let's see. 168 as the strength of field. Do we even have something similar to that? 168? 172. Wow. Okay. 0 to 3. Or 1 to 3, I should say. 7K range here. 1 to 3. 3 were in the optimal. 5 finished inside the top 10. There were 20 golfers. 174 was your strength of field. Again, it was 172. So that's pretty much spot on. Wow. 3 optimal lineups and 3 sweet spot optimals. Okay. Maybe it's a 1 to 4 bucket. Uh, 1 to 4 here, but there were 38 at the Memorial. That's crazy. 40 and only 2 in the optimal, 2 in the sweet spot optimal. Okay. Travelers, 7K range. 3 in the optimal, 3 in the sweet spot optimal, 6 finished inside the top 10. And that was a 1 to 4 projection. So definitely 1. 1's been the number for all of them. So I'm going to make this a 1 to 4. 1 to 4. I'm cool with there being 4. And I'm just remaining the 6Ks the same. Simple enough. And then all of this remains the same as well. Like normal numbers that we've seen. So we've done it all. We've covered it all. That is your bucket system for this week. I hope you guys were able to follow along and understand what I was going through, what I was talking about. Again, I was looking at past signature events, kind of just looking at the same data, the same bucket systems, and just kind of comparing it to this week's bucket, like the golfers in the field. I obviously kind of improvised with the course history and the tournament information, or the tournament history, I should say. I improvised with those buckets, but everything else, recent form, last week, salaries, strokes gained, we kind of went hand in hand with all the other signature events. So I feel really good about that. I like that. I like the fact that I went over it, you know, with you guys here. And it's obviously, I think it might be the more comprehensive way of doing it. Of course, it takes a little longer to do that, but I like it. That was great. So if you want to build lineups with the optimizer, I will have the optimizer I send out to everybody updated after I get done with the stream. It will have the buckets that we see in here. Obviously, I updated the optimizer instead of updating cheat sheets or anything like that. You know what? I could update the cheat sheet as well. I think here, let's do this right now. I'm going to do this. It's going to look a little funny. So you have your minimums here and your maximums there. I will do this, make it easier. I have to do salaries different because for whatever reason, I screwed this up a while ago. So this is, again, the cheat sheet that you can find at the website. Actually, it's the Google Sheets, but you can find the Google Sheets on the website. So if you want to look at this and build them kind of by hand, you're more than welcome to. 2, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2. 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0. Easy peasy. Okay, so that's what I have for the max and min projections. Again, this is on the cheat sheet. You guys can take a look at it. It's not pretty, I understand. But if you needed to see something or look at something, you can see it right there. Okay. Now we're going to get into the Marquee Tee Times. I didn't see any questions. Perfect. We'll get into Marquee Tee Times, and I'm going to do another roll call right after that because we're approaching the 2-hour mark. So we'll get on that pretty soon too. Here we go. Marquee Tee Times. So hopefully you guys saw that the CJ Cup Byron Nelson, the buckets were 100% successful, or not so much the buckets, the Marquee Tee Times, 100% successful. We see this every single week. I'm going over the top 9 groups in the field, and of the top 9 groups, again, each group has 3 golfers in it, and you only want to pick 1 golfer from each group, and you want to do that 2 to 4 times. 2 to 4. 2 to 4. Pick 2 to 4 golfers from the Marquee Tee Times. Don't add 2 golfers in the same group. Make sure they're in different groups to anchor your lineups around. And I think this week is no different. It's going by the SweetSpot score, which doesn't matter that there hasn't been a tournament played here in a long time. My model it just stays the same every single week. So if you want to know what the model is made out of, I actually keep that on the cheat sheet all the way over to the right. When you get into the columns that look like this, OWGR, grass, or grass 1, grass 2, bogey avoidance, birdie or better, driving distance, recent form DraftKings points, recent form finishing position, recent form scoring average, and then season long DK average, season long scoring average, season long round under 70%, cut made percentage, DK top 10. And obviously if someone's out, then I just kind of do a minus number. And that comes up with the score that you see over here to the right. The golfers are then ranked about their score. And I add those scores up and I rank order them to see which groups are the best. So number 1 group should be no surprise. Rory McIlroy, Justin Thomas, Tommy Fleetwood. Group number 2, Colin Morikawa, Victor Hovland, Wyndham Clark. So for me, my most favorite, in group 1, Rory, JT, or Fleetwood, I could play any one of them equally and feel almost the same because you're getting price savings with each of them. Rory's $12,000, JT $2,000 less. I actually feel more comfortable playing JT $2,000 less than I do with Rory McIlroy. And then Fleetwood's $700 cheaper than JT. I don't mind taking a couple bullets on Fleetwood. That's fine. The next group is so much easier for me. Wyndham Clark, I guess, has been battling a wrist injury. You heard that at the Zurich Classic. He played like ass throughout the entire tournament. He didn't even look at all interested and just like let down Taylor Moore. Now, Taylor Moore finished the CJ Cup Byron Nelson so terribly. Like he played really, really bad golf. When the conditions were somewhat easy, he had the AM PM. The PM in Friday's round at the CJ Cup, Byron Nelson, was not easy. But that morning round was, and he shot +3. I think he finished like -2 or -3 on Friday's round when the conditions were tougher. Not great for Wyndham Clark's partner, Taylor Moore. Sorry, I went on a tangent with Taylor Moore, but he was Wyndham Clark's partner at the Zurich, and they both, Taylor Moore looked really good at the Zurich, and Wyndham Clark looked like ass. So it's hard. Golf changes. Something could have been fixed. Maybe the rest was needed for Wyndham Clark. But I don't want to play Wyndham Clark. Yeah, I don't like Wyndham Clark. I don't want to play Wyndham Clark. Victor Hovland still reminds me of the guy, even though he won the Valspar, of saying, I don't even know where my game is. I still worry about that. And then Colin Morikawa really hasn't had super great finishes recently. But yeah, I'm going to look to see. So Morikawa missed the cut at the Zurich. That's fine. 54th at the Heritage, though. The RBC Heritage, not super great. 14th at the Masters. Yeah, I don't know. The thing to worry about with Morikawa is earlier in the year when he made the comment, like, I don't need to talk to you media people, you know, when he made that little pretty much country club mentality, you know, comment, you kind of think of him as someone who's a little mentally weak. So I don't know. Do we like Morikawa or no? I'm not sure. Again, he is playing with Wyndham Clark down here, who missed the cut at the Zurich, 27th at the Heritage, but 46th at the Masters. He did have a top 5 at the Houston Open. So, I'm trying to think of what that actual name is for the Houston Open. I forget it, but it's the Houston Open. Not great either. And then Victor Hovland, 13th at the Heritage, that's good. 21st at the Masters, that's decent. So maybe it's Victor Hovland. Maybe I should be thinking more about playing Victor Hovland than I should be of Colin Morikawa. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Next group is Oberg, Henley, and Straka. What a difficult group to pick a golfer from. Like, I think one thing I will say about this almost guarantees, in my opinion, a golfer from this group will be inside the top 10. And it might even guarantee one of these golfers will actually be in the Sweet Spot Optimal, if not the Optimal, if not in the GPP winning lineup. So if you wanted to start, I mean, like, group 2, I might skip altogether. Morikawa, Hovland, Clark, just going over it. I don't know who I like more. I don't trust any of those guys to anchor my lineups around. This one, I don't mind putting any 3 of the golfers in my lineup. I like Straka, I like Henley, and I like Oberg. I don't know what to do. Next group is simpler for me. I really like Xander this week. I also do like Matsuyama, but there's something with Matsuyama's game that I'm just not sure about. And then Akshay Bhatia, I don't trust at all. I like his shot shaping nature, but unless this course is really soft, as Joanne pointed out with the rain that came in, maybe we can consider an Akshay Bhatia, but I don't think so. I don't know. I don't feel comfortable with Akshay Bhatia whatsoever. I kind of want to take a flyer on Matsuyama. I don't mind playing Hideki Matsuyama, but I really like Xander this week. Xander might be my favorite play this week. I really like Xander. The next group, Jordo, McNeely, and Minwoo. Here's one thing I will say about this group. They all hit draws. You're not going to see that on the cheat sheet because I haven't updated it yet. They all hit draws. So they're all going to see the same type of shot, which is very helpful when you're in a group of players to see the same sight lines as long as people are accurate. We did see Maverick McNeely as one of the best signature top 10 success rates, meaning he hits the top 10 more so than anybody else for these signature events. I like that. I think this is a golf course that actually suits his game. I think he can be a strategic player. Jordo, I'd love to say, is also a strategic player, but he is all over the place. And Minwoo, most erratic golfer I've ever seen. Not ever, but he's very erratic. I don't trust him to, like, he won the Houston Open because you could sling it all over the place and not get in trouble. I think you can kind of sling it all over the place here, but the rough is not as short as the Houston Open was. So I like McNeely. I like McNeely more. And then the next group is super easy for me. I know somebody in chat said they like Brian Harman, but Patrick Cantlay, Brian Harman, Tom Hoagie, sign me up with Patrick Cantlay. I mean, a Patrick Cantlay, McNeely, either JT Morikawa or Xander start just sounds phenomenal. And you can build lineups easy with those guys. Easy. I like it. It gives me, so it makes me like Patrick Cantlay that much more. And if you like Brian Harmon, all the more power to you. And honestly, Tom Hoagie, I don't think is a bad play either. If you want to play Tom Hoagie, go for it. Bobby Mack, Denny McCarthy, Bobby Mack, Denny Mack, and then Davey Boy Thompson. I don't like Davis Thompson at this course. Just a feeling. I don't think he's as good as other people say he is or think that he is. I do like Denny McCarthy, which reminds me, I have a Denny McCarthy signed golf ball, which I should put up here at my desk. Have a Denny McCarthy signed golf ball. After this video goes live, if you come back into the YouTube comments and you write Denny McCarthy in the comment section, if Denny McCarthy wins, you will be put into a drawing for that golf ball. So if you want a Denny McCarthy golf ball, a Titleist Pro V, you know what? When we start building lineups, I'll go down and get the golf ball, come back up, and I'll show you. That's what I'll do. Yes, if you want that, just come back in. Don't say it here. Don't say in the live chat. Come back into the video and put Denny McCarthy. And then you'll get into a draw for the Denny McCarthy signed golf ball. I do like McCarthy. I don't care for Bobby Mack. Like, yeah, he's fine. I'll play him. Not a big deal, but I'm not reaching to play him. And then we get Shane Lowry, Keegan Bradley, Justin Rose. All three of those guys, super good fits for this golf course. Again, when I went over the top 10 percentage, here you go. I still have them. They're still marked or they're still highlighted. Mav McNeely is number 1, and this is top 10. You can see the column right over here. Top 10 percentage. It's a 50% clip for Mav McNeely. It's a 45% clip for Shane Lowry, and it's a 33% clip for Danny Berger. Shane Lowry is in this group. I think Keegan was up there too, right? Keegan Bradley? Maybe not. I made that up. I made it up. Okay. I did make it up. It's not even close. See one of the bottom ones? Trying to scan this really fast, so I'm probably missing them. Egan. Where are you at, man? All right, you know what? I'll make this easy. 7%. Yeah, he's almost dead last. 7.69%. He's in this company down here. There he is. He's in the company of Eric Cole, Tammy Boy Davis, Matty Fitzpatrick, Siwoo Kim, and Nick Taylor. So not great in signature events. Mr. Captain. Captain, oh Captain. Not great. Okay. And then J Rose. I mean, I didn't see J Rose up there. He might be easier to find. %18.8%. It doesn't matter how you perceive this. Doesn't matter if you don't care for it, don't like it. I get it. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't worry me one bit. But that is interesting. Shane Lowry, the top dude in that group. And then Thigala, Grazerman, and Cam Young. That rates out better than Sam Burns, Benny Ann, and Eric Cole. Are we for real? I got to check this out. Let me check this out really quick. Their points equals 2906. And yeah, this equals 2888 or 2882. Okay, that's right. That was not a typo. Thigala, Grazerman, Cam Young. I'm really not pushing to play any of those guys. You guys want to? They're part of the 9. All right. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go down and get that Denny McCarthy golf ball. For you guys in the chat, these are the Marquee Tee Times. I'm going to start building lineups right now. And I want you to find 2 to 4 golfers from the Marquee Tee Times. Don't put them in the same group. I'll call you out. I'll disqualify you. I won't build lineups for you anymore for tonight. 2 to 4. 2 to 4. Right here. And we'll build lineups around them. We'll use the optimizer. We went over the bucket system already. So we're good to go. I'm going to put some music on. I'm going to go get that golf ball for you guys. There it is. Titleist. It's backwards. Denny McCarthy. Pro V1. Okay. Get some lineups built. Let's do this quick. Have everything at 100%. I think what I'm going to do is for the 6K range, we're going to push this down to, let's do 6% for now. We'll probably have to update that just to make it work. Oh, by the way, I don't have that last tournament up, but when I went over the 7K combo buckets during the members only live stream, this is what I came up with. It was hard to distinguish. But ultimately, of these 3 groups, we wanted to find 1 to 3 golfers to put in our lineups. I told you I didn't like Hoffman and I didn't like Eckroth. They both missed the cut, and like I said, I didn't like them at all. I did like Taylor Moore and I did like Alex Smalley. I put them in a lot of lineups, and that's probably why I didn't cash much at all. I put in like $100 and I got 60 back. So it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't good. And a lot of it's because 30% of my lineups had Moore in it, 30% of my lineups had Smalley in it. But we did get Ricky Castillo. The rest of these guys, Matt McCarty was up there, but he wasn't in the optimal lineup. And this is the CJ Cup Byron Nelson, by the way. I just like to keep this here just to cover in the next video. So we were on the right track. At least it would have limited you from playing too many of these guys. And that's kind of the whole purpose of it, doing all of this. So 49.6, we have all the buckets in here. Everything is good. First person, AJ. Pin your message. He wants Xander and Cantlay. He listened to me talk about these guys and he's like, you know what? I'm down for it. I want Xander and I want Patrick. Let's do it. All right. Timer is on the screen. Here we go. Nope, that's wrong. We got to go here. And then we go here. First lineup was Xander and Cantlay. Is the same dudes I saw on the screen. That was the best lineup. Now we just put in Xander, JT, Patrick Cantlay, Taylor Pendrith, Grazerman, and Gerard. Okay, that's fine. It's whatever. We'll find better lineups. Like this one. Xander, Cantlay, Novak, Rye, and Dietrich. Sign me the hell up. Here, you're gonna get one of these. I haven't been doing this for a while, but you get one of these. That's a good lineup. We like that one. Next lineup is Xander, Cantlay, Minwoo, Davey Boy Thompson, Aaron Ryan, Sam Stevens. Okay, sure. Why not? Next one is Xander, Cantlay, Sungjae, Aaron Rye, Ben Griffin, and Sahith Theegala. Sahith is a guy I don't trust, but in the 6K range is a perfect place for him to be. So hey, it could happen. It could work. Next lineup is Xander, Cantlay, Sungjae, Davey Boy Thompson, Aaron Rye, EVR. Do you like Davis Thompson or Aaron Rye? This is your chance to kick him out. Let me know. Just tell me kick whoever it is. Here we go. We get Xander, Cantlay, and Lowry. Lowry, again, good signature event player. Davis Thompson, Aaron Rye, and Thorbjornsson, which Thorbjornsson can change it up. Or, I mean, he can be that rando that gets you over the finish line. Yeah, there's Davis Thompson and Aaron Rye once again. Let's kick somebody out. My vote is Davis Thompson. So we're going to kick Davis Thompson out. I'm going to bring back Adam Scott. And then we get Xander, Cantlay, Rye, Mitchell, Adam Scott, which is fine. If I see another Aaron Rye, I'm going to kick Rye out. Yeah, there's the other Rye. This one's fine too. Xander, Cantlay, Minwoo, Rye, Cam Davis. So Rye is going to get the boot, and we'll build 2 lineups without Rye and Davis Thompson. And perfect. Xander, Cantlay, McCarthy, Spawn, Finau, Mitchell. Don't hate it. I do not hate that lineup. That one's fine. Ooh, Michael Kim. Interesting. Xander, Cantlay, Spawn, Mitchell, Kim. I want to do one more because I don't really care for Michael Kim, but let's see what this next one will be. Ricky Fowler. Xander, JT, Cantlay, Mitchell, Glover, Fowler. Sure. I actually, just to be different, that lineup is good. I like that lineup just because it's different. And I think I'm going to save that one over. Let's save that one over one of the Rye Davis Thompson ones. I think it's going to be this one. Okay. Cool. Thank you, AJ. Let's move on to Ryan Henson. Ryan wants Rory, Cantlay, and Bridgman. Jakob Bridgman. Way down here, $6,400. Why Bridgman? What do I think of Norin? I think he's going to be rusty, is what I think about Norin. I mean, he grinds out everything, so I imagine he's going to be more ready than most people do when they come back from injury, but I think he's going to be rusty. Ryan Henson, are you in the chat? Are you ready? Right. I am going to go with Mr. Henson's lineups. Here we go. We get Rory, Cantlay, Sungjae, Michael Kim, Eric Cole, Jacob Bridgman. Okay. Very interesting. Next lineup is McIlroy, Cantlay, McIntyre, Pendrith, Michael Kim, Bridgman. Ran a set and saber. Okay. I'm going to kick out Michael Kim. That's enough, Michael Kim. 20% for lineups of yours is more than enough. McIlroy, Cantlay, Burns. Love it already. Rye, Nick Taylor, Bridgman. I feel like you are a Nick Taylor fan, supporter. Another good lineup here. McIlroy, Cantlay, Burns, Mitchell, Jaeger, and Bridgman. Yeah, I like that one. You know what, Ryan? I haven't played a lot of music. Got one for AJ, now I got one for you. Oh yeah, that lineup is sexy. You're welcome. Good night, what's up, man? Nice to see you. Next lineup is McIlroy, Cantlay, McCarthy, I really like JT Poston this week, by the way. Taylor Pendrith and Jacob Bridgman. Okay. I like that one a lot, actually. I need to kick somebody out. Who would you want me to kick out, Ryan? Technically, it would be JT Poston. I will kick out JT Poston despite liking him. He is the lowest guy on the metrics score outside of Bridgman. So we'll go to the next one. And we get McIlroy, Cantlay, JJ Spawn, Keith Mitchell, Taylor Pendrith, Jakob Bridgman. And this one will kick out Pendrith. Going on wheels up? Yes, we certainly can. McIlroy, Cantlay, Rye, Spawn, English, and Bridgman. Sure. Haven't seen a Harris English. No. Nobody talking about Harris English. I'm here for it. I'm kicking out JJ Spawn. Personal choice. Say Pendrith or Poston. You want me to kick one of those guys out or just say Pendrith or Poston? Because I just did. McIlroy, Cantlay, Thompson, Rye, Grazerman, Bridgman. Now we get our Davey Boy Thompson, Aaron Rye stuff. So I'll kick out Davey Boy Thompson. McIlroy, Cantlay, Burns. Love that. Aaron Rye, Scott, and Bridgman. Adam Scott. And now I'm going to kick out Rye. Just too much, man. Too much. 52% Aaron Rye. That's crazy. McIlroy, Cantlay, Burns, Mitchell, Gerard, and Bridgman. That's a good lineup, man. I like that one. It's a lot of Aaron Rye. Did I put him in a lot of your lineups? Aaron Rye. Aaron Rye, Aaron Rye, Aaron Rye. No. But down here we did Aaron Rye, Aaron Rye, Aaron Rye, Aaron Rye. Rye. Okay. A lot of Aaron Rye. So the guys that are I'm going to be building lineups for coming up here. Let me know what your feelings are on Davis Thompson and Aaron Rye, and I'll either kick them out sooner or I'll keep them in there longer, just depending on how you guys feel. Next one up is Joanne. So Joanne, let me know. She wants Justin Thomas and Jordo Spieth. All right. Timer is on the screen. Here we go, Joanne. First lineup is JT, Jordo, Corey Connors, Sungjae, Keith Mitchell, and EVR. I like that lineup a lot, actually. That's a really good lineup. Keep Rye. Okay. Thomas Spieth, Connors, Im, Pendrith, and Thomas Dietrich. All right. I like that lineup too. 10-9, 8-8, 7-6. We can do that. 10-9, 8-7, 7-6 here with Thomas Spieth, Im, Burns, Novak. Okay, I like that lineup the most. Joanne, that one is... Look at this. This is going to be 3 songs in a row. We haven't done this in a long time. This is a great lineup, Joanne. We like that lineup. JT Spieth, Im, Novak, Rye, Thigala. Another great lineup. Is Spieth and Thomas the combo kings? We get Sam Stevens with this lineup that we had just built with the core 5 there. I don't hate it. JT, Spieth, Im, Rye, Rose, Pendrith. Okay, we get a little Justin Rose love in there with Sung J M, who I think is a great play this week. Thomas Spieth, Im, Novak, Mitchell, Pendy. Sure, why not? Thomas Spieth, Im, Novak, Aaron Ryan, Harris English. Hell yeah, sign me up. These lineups are going swimmingly, Joanne. These are great. We get Eric Cole instead of the last guy that we had. Who was that? Harris English. Okay. So we have kind of this core of JT Spieth, Sungjae, Novak. Do you like that, Joanne? This is the last lineup I'm building for you. So I want to make sure if you don't like Novak, that I'll kick him out. If you don't like Sungjae, I'll kick him out. Just want to see your take on those before I build more. You're switching for the time being from poppy to kombucha drinks. They are very interesting flavors. Yeah, I like kombucha. I also have me some Whole Foods sparkling water, so changing it up a little bit too. Yep. Okay. Last lineup, we switch out Cole and we put in Steven Yeager, which I don't hate. Let's see what one more would look like. We switch them all out. We get Captain Keegan with Novak and Michael Thorbjornsen. Okay, it's different. Who would we want to kick out for those? I don't think I'd want to kick out any of these ones for that one. I will say this, I'd rather have this one than the Taylor Pendrith one that's right here. I really don't like Taylor Pendrith. A weird golf swing works once every 10 events, I swear. And that golf swing he has, I don't think is very repeatable. It'd be difficult to be. Obviously it is because he's on the PGA Tour, but you know what I mean. Okay, Joanne, those are lineups for you. Hopefully you got some good ones out of that. Nathan Johnson. Nathan wants Russell Henley, Mav McNeely, and Berger. So you're going with the top signature event players, huh? Russell Henley. Daniel Berger. And Mav McNeely. All right, so we got a 9K golfer, an 8K golfer, and an 8K golfer. A 9, 94, 86, 83. All right. Question, Nathan. Aaron Rye, Davis Thompson. If we get to too many of them, let me know who you'd want kicked, okay? Here we go. Timers on the board, and we are building lineups. Henley, Berger, McNeely, Burns, Thompson, Aaron Rye. There we go. Thompson and Aaron Rye. Right away. Very good balance lineup. 9, 8, 8, 7, 7, 7. And we do have to make a decision. I'm kicking out Davis Thompson. Just got to be done. because he's the low man out of all the other guys. That's not Berger, Henley, or McNeely. Here's another good balanced lineup. 3 8Ks, by the way. Henley, Berger, M, McNeely, Rye, Mitchell. Mitchell's getting the boot. Here we go. I don't need any Thompson. Okay with 1 to 2 Rye. Okay, so here's your second Rye lineup, and then we kick Rye out. This one is Henley, Berger, M, McNeely, Rye, Spawn. Did we actually have Rye in the last one? Oh, we did. Okay, so let's bring back Spawn and kick out Rye. Because we already have 2 Rye lineups. Henley, Berger, M, McNeely, Burns, Pendrith. And Pendrith is getting the boot. Perfect. 1 Pendrith is okay. Don't mind it. Henley, Berger, M, McNeely, Burns, Finau. Not getting any 10K golfers in here. That's cool with you. That's cool with me. Henley, Connors, Berger, McNeely, Burns, Grazerman. I like that. That looks good. You can't cheat on me, Poppy. Here we go. First 10K and first Colin Morikawa lineup. Morikawa, Henley, Berger, McNeely, Kim, EVR. That reminds me, someone mentioned, I think it was what, Phil Paul. I think I heard something about Max Homa's caddy switched to JT when he won. That's correct. His name's Joe Greiner. But now he's with Morikawa. That is also correct. And I think it's probably going to be a good fit because Joe Greiner's a cool dude. But you just never know. You never know. Henley, Berger, M, McNeely, Burns, Ben Griffin. I like that lineup a lot. That might be my favorite lineup so far of yours. Starting with the 9 and the 2 8s. And now we put Benny N in there. There you go. It's another good balanced lineup. Next one is also a good one. Henley, Connors, Berger, McNeely, Burns, Gerard. Here's what we're going to do with the next one. Oh, can I even? I don't think I can force a 10K golfer in there. Oh, yes, I can. We can force a 10K golfer in. We're going to do another 10K. Not named Colin Morikawa and see what happens. We get JT, Henley, Berger, McNeely, Michael Kim, Sam. I don't want that one. If you like that one, perfect. I'm not going to do that one. Instead, we do Rasmus Højgaard. Yeah, sign me up for that. This is a great lineup. I'm glad I did that. There you go. We had 2 10K lineups, or that started with a 10K golfer. I do like that one. JT, Henley, Berger, McNeely, Rasmus Højgaard, and Sam Stevens. Me like it. Okay. Next one up is Lombardi Lee. Lombardi wants Denny, Jordan, and Victor. So here's Jordo, Victor, and Denny McCarthy. We're going to give Denny a 100-point boost because I'm sick and tired of having to update these. Let's give Spiethy Boy a 100-point boost. Are they the same score? They are. They're nearly identical. Both Spieth and Denny McCarthy. All right, Lombardi, here we go. He says, I'm here. All right, you let me know. Do you like Aaron Rye? Do you like Davis Thompson? If not, I will kick them when we have too many of them. First lineup is Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth, Victor Hovland, Denny McCarthy, Pendrith, and Adam Scott. Pretty good. Pretty good. Adam Scott gets the boot, and now we go with Jordo, Victor, Corey Connors, Sungjae M, McCarthy, and Thomas Dietrich. Yeah, sign me up. What a lineup. That one's great. Here, I'll play some music for you on that one because that was a good one. Jordan Spieth, Hovland, M, Novak, McCarthy, and Aaron Rye. Sure. Don't hate it. Yes. Lombardi Lee, I don't know what that means. Jordo, Hovland, Im, McCarthy, Rye, Justin Rose. That's a good lineup. Jordo, Hovland, Connors, Im, McCarthy, Thorbjornsen. Okay. Don't hate it. I do not hate it. Jordo, Hovland, Connors, Im, McCarthy, Glover. That's another good. That's a lineup I like also. We replaced Glover and we put in Ricky Fowler. Sure. Why not? I got no issue against Ricky Fowler this week. And then we put in Nick Taylor. So we got a core here, and this is fine. I like this core. Put Corey Connors in there with Sung J M to go with your other dudes. Love it. Shoffley. Oh, we get a Xander lineup. Xander, Spieth, Hovland, McCarthy, Aaron Rye, and then Cam Davis. Min 6K. Love it. Oh, I see. The music. I got you. And the last one is Jordo, Hovland, Connors, McCarthy, Aaron Rye, and Keith Mitchell. Sure, sign me up. I'll give you a bonus one here. Which is pretty good too. Spieth, Hovland, Connors, Im, McCarthy, and Grazerman. Not terrible. The grease trap, as Byron Lindeque would say. Okay. Hey, just a question out there for you all. No, by the way, let's do a roll call. This isn't going to be the roll call question, but a question that I have for you. Actually, let's do the roll call first and then a question. Roll call number 2. Who's winning this event? Who is your winner this week? Let's get to second roll call. Or an entry into the giveaway. Let me catch up with chat also. Bill Lauer says, would you even play more Hovland if he's the same ownership as Colin? Yeah. I don't care. I don't care about ownership. And if you don't know, now you know. It's who do you think, I mean, you could play them both together. You just gotta, honestly, when you put a lineup together, you just gotta put 2 guys together in a core of lineup, or in a core that nobody else is gonna do. And then that's where you're different. I talked about the Homa Caddy switch. Yep. Got that. Ryan saying he ran a test, and Saber with Bridgman. Okay. Ryan saying Nick Taylor won him a lot of money, and we put him in a couple lineups for him. Bill Lauer asks, you feel better about Hoagie or Cole? I like them both the same, honestly, and I like them a lot. Not a lot, but just to prove a point, I like them. I don't dislike them. Good night says, I'm switching for the time being. Poppy, yeah, I read that one. How has your week been, AJ? Justin Rose loves to ramp up before a major. Does he play well before a major? Johnny Two Bets feels like there are so many good options this week. Well, in the top 30% of golfers for sure, then that middle tier. Yeah, I don't know. My first inclination is to do the barbell approach. And if you're not sure what that is, you grab 2 high price guys, 2 low price guys that count as your weights. Or I guess you put 2 high priced golfers on both sides of the bar, and then everyone in the middle is kind of the same price. That's actually the barbell approach. But yeah, I mean, you could do a 10-10 start. I think that would be fine. You know what? I still wouldn't want to do more than 2 6K golfers. I don't think this is a 3 6K type of week. I actually really do I like some golfers in the 9K range, and the 8K range is pretty good too. So a 10-9-8-7-7-6 is probably the approach I'm sticking with. We did go over past optimal lineups and saw that a 10-8-8 was the most common salary build, but then a 10-9-9 was the next most common. So it's, you know, really, where do you want to start? I think that's just where it's going to go, or what it's going to be. Let's see here. Is closer like 30% solid, and then low end is crapshoot at best. I agree. What does your red mean? Like when I color something red? So my the color combos for me when I highlight a lineup, orange is gross. I don't like orange. Orange is like, I need to play this because I hate it. Yellow is safe. Yellow is just like, put this in a low entry or low contestant. What's the word I'm looking for? Like there aren't that many entries in that contest. So like 100-man, 200-man, 300-man contest, put a yellow lineup in something like that. Green means safe, as in good safe. Not like yellow. Green means we can play them in any of our favorite contests. Red means have to put them in in our favorite contests. And then if I paint something black with red lettering, that means that's my most favorite lineup, and that is going in the most expensive contest or one of the most expensive contests for me. So anything that I paint black with red lettering, that is like a holy shit, we like this lineup. Got to do it. AJ goes, my week was horrible. I faded Scotty and went high on more and Smalley. Oh, brother. AJ. You can't go on both of those guys. Come on, man. I mean, I understand that the buckets, you know, how I did that said you could, but oof, that is brave, dude. That is taking on a lot of risk. I didn't do that. I almost lost my whole bankroll. AJ, come on, dude. Still like Poppy, just want to explore a little bit more. Yeah, absolutely. Good night. Absolutely. Spread my wings a bit. AJ goes, I'm a Dr. Pepper guy. I'm an anti-sugar guy, so I try not to have anything with sugar in it. CJ Cup Insert Classic was your worst weeks. Yeah. Yeah. Good night got saved by MLB DFS. Okay. I will put your names in. Sorry, I wanted to catch up with chat because I did miss quite a bit. I missed quite a bit. Bill Lauer, or AJ Love says Burger. Bill Lauer says Colin. Colin Morikawa, that is. Wheels Up says Justin Thomas, which is very interesting. Good night says Rose. I think that's fine. Joanne, good luck. Aim for the sweet spot this week. Yes. Nathan Johnson says Mav McNeely. Okay. Tim Tulos with X. X hits the spot. Joanne says JT. Okay, I didn't have Joanne in there. There we go. Lombardi Lee says Tommy Fleetwood. You didn't even put him in your lineups, dude. You didn't even anchor around him. What are you talking about? Philip says, I think oh yeah, Philip, I need to put you in here too. He says, I think building balanced lineups is going to be different. Could be. I've tracked Rose over the years. He plays well in majors, but he is so right before, but I like him. Okay. Most are going to go studs and duds. All right. Good night writes it all in there in the chat for me. I love it. Phil Hours, dude, Zurich, I had 0 lineups cash. Yeah, I didn't really have any. Joanne says coffee all day. Okay. Coffee all day. I can't do coffee for whatever reason. Acid reflux is just, it kills me with coffee. And then also, you know, people complain about caffeine in energy drinks causing you to get the jitters. I don't get the jitters with caffeine or with energy drinks. I get the jitters with coffee. I get that weird, like your heart is racing, like your vision gets blurred and like everything kind of like just does this number. That only happens with me with coffee. But I'm a fast drinker. So like a lot of times I'll drink 2 cups of coffee in like 2 hours. If even that. It might be even shorter than that. And so I'm just like, I'm like Cornholio in Beavis and Butthead. I just get so like ramped up. It's terrible. But for whatever reason, these guys right here don't do enough damage for me. Okay, we were on Lombardi Lee. We built his lineups. Now we're on Philip Hall. Philip Hall, are you here? He wants Lowry and McNeely. So he also is going with the top signature event players in the field. McNeely and Shane Lowry. Philip Hall, are you here? I think you are. Joanne says too old for that. I hear you. The one thing I love about coffee is it regulates you. So one thing I like about coffee, if you're having issues, drink a cup of coffee. It works. Can't do caffeine anymore. I haven't had soda in 15 years. I get super high heart rate with caffeine. See? I don't do energy drinks. I learned the hard way. It caused me to have serious issues. Okay. Everything in moderation, ladies and gentlemen. Everything in moderation. Philip is here. Let's get that timer restarted, and here we go. Lowry, McNeely. Do you like Aaron Rye? Do you like Davis Thompson? Let me know, because they're going to show up. Like I just said, Aaron Rye. We get Rory with his best friend Shane. So we get 10, 8, 8, 7, 6, 6. This is great. It's a good lineup. Grazerman, Gerard, by the way, the 2 6K golfers that I see the most together. I'm actually not going to save this one. I'm going to kick it out, and we're going to try a different one. And then I'll bring back Gerard. Morikawa, Lowry, Im. The 3 8K golfers. McNeely, Rye, Grazerman. So you know how people are like in the chat that just happened talking about they think it's going to be lots of studs and duds. I think that's because of how the salaries are this week. There's no Scotty at 13,000. So trying to put together like a balanced lineup. There's not that many 9K golfers, not that many 10K golfers, the normal amount of 8K golfers, but really what that lends itself to is 3 8Ks that you see on the screen with a 10K golfer and then 2 7s. That doesn't seem it doesn't seem unique. But I do like this lineup. JT Lowry, Im, McNeely, Rye, Pendrith. You're okay with a few Ryan Thompson? Okay. Thomas, Lowry, Im, McNeely, Rye, Theala. I like that one. I did say I was going to bring back that other $6,600 golfer, but we didn't even have great. Oh yeah, we did do a Grazerman lineup. Okay. I'm going to kick out Rye because we've already had a few Ryes. We've had a lot of Ryes. We've had 3 Ryes. Jeez. So someone should keep track of this. Aaron Rye, Davis Thompson, they're the most common golfer that are selected. Let's see if either one of them finishes inside the top 10. I'd love to track that because I honestly, when I see it too much, I'm like, no. And especially with Aaron Rye and Davis Thompson, I don't trust those guys. I don't want them in my lineups. Not nearly as much as the optimizer does. Morikawa, Lowry, Im, McNeely, Thompson, and Gerard. Don't mind that. JT Lowry, Im, McNeely, Thompson, Stevens. Now we kick out Thompson. Jeez, it's a lot of Thompson. A lot of Thompson, a lot of Rye. Don't care for either. JT Lowry, Im, McNeely, Finau, Keith Mitchell. Hopefully Finau is taking this game a bit more seriously, because he was the most, him and Cam Young are the most unserious golfers right now on the tour. JT, Lowry, M, McNeely, Mitchell, Ben Griffin. I am switching the 8Ks to only have 2. I want to see some 9Ks in here. Come on, man. Or 2 10s. We get Rory, Lowry, McNeely, Mitchell, Michael Kim, and Dietrich, which is fine. It's not great. It's fine. Fine. It's fine. Lowry, McElroy, McNeely, Spawn, Mitchell, and EVR. Yeah, sign me up for that one. That one's good. I like that one. Thomas, Henley, Lowry, McNeely, Mitchell, and Thorbjornsen. I'm going to say sure. Did you know Thorbjornsen had mono to begin the season with? So if you're wondering why he didn't come out with a bang on tour, it's probably why. Those are some good lineups. We have a lot of JT, some Morikawa, and some McIlroy. Not terrible. Okay. All right, so that was Philip Hall. Thank you, Philip. And now we go to Tim Toulos. Tiptoe through the Toulos. I'm sure you haven't heard that one before. Tommy Fleetwood is a shocker. Too old for that. Can't do caffeine anymore. Read that here. Got that. I just need Poppy in my life. Best drinks are smoothies. Joanne, I don't disagree. Smoothies are fantastic. Have you tried all the flavors or just a few? You're asking me. I think you're asking AJ. I have tried all of them now. I actually was just drinking the cherry lime. Woo, that's way better than I thought it was. I couldn't do it in the wintertime because it doesn't seem like a wintertime drink. But now that it's warm here, it is fantastic. Woo, love it. I'm going all in on Cam Davis for real? What for? Cam Davis, Ludwig, Collin. Okay. All right, Phil. Remind me of those lineups. Actually, so I think Tim is one of the last ones on my original when I called it out, and then I'll try to find there's another 1 or 2 in between that I'll try to find, and then I will come back to yours. Not so much come back to yours, but I will come down to yours. Now, Wheels Up will be after Tim Toulos. And then I think that's it. We'll see. We'll see. All right. So Tim Toulos wants JT, Cantley, and McNeely. Look at that. So, okay. Did I get you guys on McNeely by going over McNeely, or were you guys already on Matt McNeely this week? I'm just curious because, you know, sometimes I will say this. I've been reviewing your guys' lineups the last couple of weeks. I always want to go in and see if anyone got close to winning a lot of money. Last week, a lot of you guys were on Ben Griffin. It seems like that was an anchor play. Some of the anchor plays have been bad anchor plays, and I don't know where they come from, but everyone's basically anchoring around the same dudes. So if McNeely is from me, that's so be it. Like last week, it was like there were a lot of, like I said, Ben Griffin lineups, anti-Scotty lineups. Scotty, I liked Ryo Hisatsune, but he obviously missed the cut. So Scotty with him, not great. A pivot from Hisatsune was Cole. Cole would have been the play. Eric Cole, that is. I just want to double check. Nathan says Mab and Berger were the top of his list. Perfect. Good Night says I don't want any lineups tonight. I'm just going to try to leech off of others. Okay. Joanne says, have tried them all. Great drinks. And make my own. Okay, there we go. Tim is here. Okay, Tim. Have I tried the classic Cola Poppy? Yes, I have. It's good. think, yeah, there's a rose. Well, I had the rosé one. I did not like the rosé. The raspberry rosé, I did not like that one. I thought there was another similar one that was like that. I think there's now a purple. I think there's a grape drink now. I've yet to try. I can't remember. I'll have to go. It was when I was at Costco. I saw these drinks. All right. Do I have everybody? Hanley. Okay. I need McNeely. Mav McNeely. All right. I'll put the timer on the screen. Here we go. We get JT Canley, M, McNeely, Keith Mitchell, and Thorbjornsen. Okay. Pretty good. Hey, by the way, Tim, Aaron Rai, Davis Thompson. How do you feel about them? Do you want me to keep them in? Do you want me to kick them out? Let me know. JT Canley, M, McNeely, McCarthy, Davis. Cam Davis. Okay. Adam Hadwin sighting. JT Canley, M, McNeely, McCarthy, Hadwin. You think our taste buds are similar? I haven't tried grape yet. Grape is one that I want to try. JT Cantley, McNeely, Rye, Mitchell, Pendrith. That's fine. Fine. Not my favorite. All right, Joanne, have a good night and good luck to you as well. Thomas Cantley, McNeely, Rye, Mitchell, Sahith. Okay. Kicker, the Aaron Rai. How about Davis Thompson? Gosh, I forgot to do this, man.
Oh, you gotta get him that hot tour and spit on that thing. You get me?
JT Cantley, M, McNeely, Mitchell, and Ricky Fowler. I actually like that lineup a lot. I'll go back in and paint that one. Ooh, I don't mind this one. JT Cantley, M, McNeely, Griffin, Adam Scott. Here, I'll go in and paint this one. This one's a good one. Kick out Davey Boy Thompson. I think that's what you meant, right? Once we get there, if we get there. This one's essentially the same lineup, but we get Max Grazerman, which I don't hate. Not terrible. Okay, Sungjae is showing up a lot. JT Cantley, M, and I actually don't mind that, to be honest with you. I think that's fine. I'm going to kick out Mitchell. I'm going to do one more lineup for you, but we did do our 10 lineups. Let's see if we can get something a little different. We did. You get EVR with Finau. I don't really care for Finau, though. I'm going to kick out M, because that's the other one that I kind of want to see something different. Perfect. JT Cantley, McNeely, Burns, Thompson, and Ryan Gerard. That, I mean, Thompson, never mind. Whatever. It's fine, but whatever. I don't like Michael Kim. Yeah, it just gets ugly. I do like Sam Stevens. I don't care for Finau. Although, if this is like a Northeast type of thing, this is actually a fantastic lineup. You know, Tony Finau got his first win up in New York, Liberty National, I think, right? Maybe there's something with Tony Finau in the Northeast. we're gonna go with it just because. I think what I want to kick out is this one with Mitchell, Rye, and Thigala, because there's so many of those lineups and in the other ones that I've built. So we'll kick that one out, and we've got your 10, Tim. So far, we have 0 Ludwig, 0 Fleetwood, 0 Matsuyama, 0 Straka, 0 Clark, 0 Siwoo, 0 Harmon. I imagine a lot of this has to do with just because this is the thing with the bucket system. They're just combinations, right? Who is Sepp Straka playing? Number 3. So there's Henley in that group. And Ludwig. Oh, wow. We haven't really played that much Henley. So I'm surprised that it isn't picking up Straka. Okay, that's one. Group 4 is with Matsuyama, and that has Xander in it. And it also has Batia, but we're not playing Batia. That's also interesting. I mean, his score isn't that high. I get it. Fleetwood is in the same group as McIlroy and JT, and that's why Fleetwood isn't being selected. That makes more sense. The other golfers? Ah, man, I did not know. Thompson has been in everyone's lineups. And Rye, yeah, I know. And I feel the same way, good night, but the thing is, and AJ knows this too, oftentimes, because of that, I will say, I'm not playing these guys because there's just this weird feeling I get from the optimizer. I don't want to play those golfers. And what ends up happening, those are the dudes that either finish top 20 or top 10. You know, I'll see it a lot with like Jason Day. I'll see it a lot with, you know, a golfer I just don't like. And they just show up a lot. And that's why AJ Love ends up playing those guys. Because we've been around the ringer a few times. Just, it happens. It's stupid. Just happens. All right, those were Tim's lineups. Now we're on Wheels Up. He wants Noren, Im, and JT. Okay. JT, Sungjae. Alex Noren, what, 6,000 something? Right here, 62. Let's give him a 200-point boost. And Wheels Up, I will say this. How much Rye, how much Davis Thompson do you want? Because they're going to show up. We already know. Here we go. Xander, JT, Sungjae Im, Davis Thompson, JJ Spawn, Alex Noren. Okay. I don't hate it. 0 of them. Okay. Sounds good. So I got to kick out Davis Thompson. Davis Thompson and Rye, they are gone. We did do one Davis Thompson lineup. And I don't care for Pendrith, but I'll bring them back in case you do. 0 on both. You got it. First lineup is Xander, JT Sungjae, Tony Finau, Keith Mitchell, Alex Noren. It's all right. 10-10, 8-7-7-6. We get almost the exact same lineup, but we get Siwoo Kim in there instead of Tony Finau. So you're getting some Xander in this. Jason Day withdrew before the tournament began for undisclosed reasons. I started clapping when I saw that. Yeah. All right, there's Taylor Pendrith. We get Schauffele, Thomas, Im, Bradley, Pendrith, and Alex Noren. How do you feel about the Xander JT start? Do you want me to kick Xander out? It's completely removing 9Ks from the lineups. 10-10, 8-7-6-6. We get Sam Burns, Thigala, Noren, Sungjae. I think it's just because Sungjae is such a good value in my... Oh, no. You have Sungjae. And you have Sungjae. Never mind. That's stupid. I should have known. No. What did I just ask? How do you like Xander? Do you want me to kick Xander out? Is that what I asked? I can't remember. Xander, JT, Im, Burns, Griffin, Alex Noren. I don't hate it. I mean, it follows the whole process. Start with a 10-9-8, 7-7-6 format, and you make up to 2 substitutions. We're just subbing a 9 up to a 10, so it works. It's not terrible. Keep X-Man in. Okay. Yeah. Xander, JT, Im, Burns, Benny Ann, and Alex Noren. That's a good lineup too. We're getting a lot of Burns love. We get Sungjae and Burns. Here, oh, I like Poston. Poston is my X-Man this week. X as in X. I don't know I forget the phrase. I just X Factor. That's the word I'm looking for. Shoffley, Thomas, Im, Burns, Michael Kim, Alex Noren. I don't care for Michael Kim. If you like the lineup, there it was on the screen. I'm not saving it. Wyndham Clark with Harris English. This is different. Shoffley, Thomas, Im, Clark, English, Noren. Sure. Colin Morikawa, JT, Sungjae, Burns, Tom Hoagie, and Noren. I actually really like that lineup. So the other thing with the red, so it's like red I really like, but red is very risky. Red's a good GPP lineup. Very risque. And this one's not so risque, but it's still pretty good. Morikawa, Thomas, Im, Harmon, Mitchell, and Noren. I'm going to force it just to do one lineup with only one 10K golfer in it. That's it. And you get JT, Henley, Lowry, Im, Mitchell, and Noren. It's a pretty good lineup. I like that one. I like that one more than I like this one. Okay. Those were 10 lineups there. Let's see, who do we have next? Just scrolling down. I know Phil Lauer has one coming up. I just want to see if there's anyone between Wheels Up and Phil Lauer. Nathan Johnson. Nope, never mind. We already did Nathan's, right? Yep, we did Nathan already. All right, if I've missed you, I want you to speak up. I know Phil, you're next. Phil Lauer is next. But I can't find anyone between Wheels Up and Phil Lauer, so speak up or forever hold your peace. Nathan Johnson says, does Clark deserve any looks with recent form? Nah. I really don't. I mean, you know, I gotta be careful because some of my bias, like just my personal bias for Wyndham Clark, I just don't like him. So I don't want to play any Wyndham Clark because I don't like him. Good night. Goes, hey Eric, are you playing the best player in golf, Max Homa, this week? What? That's gross, dude. Come on. Yeah, sure. Extraordinary for X Factor. How does Pavone rank on the signature events list? Let's conspire with the list. We are looking for whom? Matthew Pavone. 9%. He's played 11 events, one top 10, and that was the 2024 Pebble Beach Pro-Am. One 16th place finish. That's it. Nothing better than 42nd place. So Matthew Pavone will not. He's not going to pay off his price tag. He's most likely not going to pay off his price tag. All right, so let's bring Alex Noren back down to earth. And we like Cammy Boy Davis, so let's go ahead and put 100 points on him. Do that. Lock him in. Lock him in. Ludwig and Colin. Okay. Luddy Duddy. Morikawa. will not make the list. I'm with you. I try and avoid Clark. No cut Max Homa might pop off. He might, or he might not. Wheels Up says, I love that Tom lineup. Tom? Which Tom lineup? Tom Hoagie. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a good lineup. All right, man. Mr. Lauer, you were on the clock. Starting the lineups. We get Morikawa, Oberg, Im, Rye, Harmon, and Cam Davis. Solid. Do you like Rye, Phil Lauer? Do you like Davis Thompson? So they will show up. And Sung J M. Which, I mean, Sung J I think is a great play this week, but he's going to show up a lot. Morikawa, Oberg, Im, McNeely, Michael Kim, Cam Davis. Solid. Morikawa, Oberg, McNeely, Burns, Poston, Cam Davis. Yeah, if there was a lineup that I was looking for, it'd be this one. Oh boy, that's a copyright. I forgot where the button was. That played way too long. We're getting a copyright strike on that one. Did we save this one? No, we did not. Yeah, no, this one deserves one of those. That's a great lineup. Sign me the hell up, dude. What a lineup. Morikawa, Oberg, Connors, Burns. Oh my god, dude. Oh yeah. This lineup is sexy. That was a good lineup. Wow. Saving the best for last? Is that what we're doing right now? What in the hell? Risk it for the biscuit. Morikawa, Oberg, Lowry, McCarthy. Okay, I hate Taylor Pendrith. Good lineup. Minus Pendrith. You know what? Oh, and then we break it. We break the optimizer. There are only a few lineups we could build. That's very interesting since we custom built the we custom built the bucket system based off of previous signature events, and we were very forgiving with the projections. So the fact that we broke it here, hold on, maybe can we fix this? I don't think we can. What? Okay, hold on. I'm going to make the 6K range 100%. I think we might have used too many 6K golfers. I think we can fix it this way. Nope, we broke it. We done dare broked it. What do you have? So we have 2 course history 1s, and 2 is the max. And then Cam Davis doesn't fit anything. Is that it? Is that the reason why? Yeah. If I put this to 3, does that help? No, it doesn't. What's going on? What in the actual hell? Why do we have Harmon out? Did we already build? Oh, we must have built a Harmon lineup. Yeah, we did. Oh. Could it be? No, that wouldn't be it. Let's take a look here. Hold your horses. What's going on? Oh. What? I don't want that many. No. No. You got 33% Cam Davis. Wish you luck. Good luck. 2 6Ks, 2 9Ks. So what's wrong with this one? We don't have. Oh wait. We have this. This is good. This is good. Oh, recent forms. Recent form 1 and 2. I see. We are at our max with the recent form guys that you have. I'm assuming there's recent form 3, recent form 3, recent form 3. Okay. It's the recent form 3 bucket. You got a lot of golfers. And all the other ones that we're trying to pull from our recent form 1 and 2. And Tom Hoagie is a recent form 1 golfer. So yeah, all the guys that have no's next to their name are pretty much your 1s and 2s that are cheap. Lowry and Berger fit that mold. Hovland, Spieth fit that mold. So does Justin Thomas for recent form 1s, that is. Your cheapest recent form 2 is Gary Woodland. We might be able to make Wood. He's the only guy. Okay. Duly noted, by the way. Tom Hoagie is the cheapest. So, lesson learned. Morikawa Oberg lineups are very, or I should say this. Morikawa, Oberg, Cam Davis lineups are very stingy. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna kick out Cam Davis because he should be kicked out. And I'm gonna build you 5 lineups without Cam Davis in them because they're going to work out. We get Rye, of course. More Rye. We're gonna kick out Rye. Don't want Rye. McNeely, Finau, Mitchell, Grazerman. Okay. Lowry, Thompson, Stevens, Thomas Dietrich. That's fine. We're gonna kick out Thompson. Morikawa, Oberg, Lowry, Mitchell, Batia, Sam Stevens. That's actually really good. And we get a Batia lineup finally. And then I'm actually going to kick out Morikawa and put JT in. And then I'll actually bring back Cam Davis because this will help you out. Oh. Xander, JT, Oberg, Mitchell, Grazerman, and Cam Davis. Wow. Talk about stars and scrubs. How about not? And let's try something else. JT Oberg, M, McNeely, JJ Spawn, Cam Davis. Perfect. That was a good lineup 10. That one was good. Okay. I'm gonna go with X and Oberg. Actually, no. Let's do X, Cantlay, McNeely, no Thompson, no Rye, we'll start here. This is probably the three golfers that I want to put in lineups. I'm also very interested in trying like a Xander, Xander, say Berger. Xander Berger McNeely. Go 10-8-8. But interested in this one. I don't like Michael Kim, so I'm saying no to that. 10-9-8-8. I just want to... So I'm going to clear out all the filters. Don't care. Instead, I'm going to use these filters here. 10, 9, 8, 8. You can choose how to build your lineups. And we can see 51 of these lineups. And they go 10, 9, 8, 8, 6, 6, 47% of the time. 10, 9, 8, 8, 7, 6, 45% of the time. But they rarely go 10, 9, 8, 8, 7, 7. I'm going to actually add more filters to this. I want this to be 12. 12, 4. Min salary, I want over 5. I want 6,000 and above. And I want to use up 49.5, I guess. We can go 49.5. That's cool. All right. So it's pretty much the same. 10, 9, 8, 8, 6, 6. 10, 9, 8, 8, 7, 6. I like that. Okay. Our max salary, 11.7. 11.5, 11, 11. And those are with Stoneman's 6Ks. 62, Stoneman 6. All of them. Okay. It ranges. It's different. None of those lineups in 2025. In 2024, none of them were signature events. So have not seen that and have not seen a 10-9-8-8 lineup in a signature event. Okay. Got to put all those filters in that I had before, which is fine. I get it. Michael had mentioned founding a lifetime member to put in a toggle button to put signature fields in or not, and that's smart. Eventually. What else? Wells Fargo, Memorial, Arnold Palmer, Tournament of Champions, Heritage. I think that's all, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I think there's only 8. Yep. 2024, 2025. 10, 8, 3 7s, and a 6. I'm gonna put those more filters on. 49, 5 and above. 6,000 for the min salary. 12.4 for the max salary. 10.99.766. That makes sense. 10.8, 3 7 to 6. Which one is that? Does that look like a $12,000 golfer in there? 11.8. Okay, good to know. 10.98.766. $11,000 golfer. Okay. Yeah. It's got to be different this week because it's either Rory and then it's easy. Then you just do 10.98.776 or 10.88.776 or 766. Or if we do a low 10K, it might be 2 9s. I mean, again, we can do that here. Go 10,500. And the most common is 10.99.766. 10-9-9. 10 and 3/8, 7-6. That's for the RBC Heritage. 10-9-9, 7-6-6. 10-9-9, 7-6-6 for the Tournament of Champions. Things go out of whack when Scotty Scheffler is not in the field. 10-9-8, 7-7-7. Yeah, I mean, still start with a 10K golfer. 10-9, 9-8, 7-7-6, 10-9-8, 7-7-7, 10-9-9, 7-6-6. So 10-9 and 7. So I see with the majority of these lineups. Huh. Still the most common, 10-9-8, 7-7-6, 10-9-8, 7-6-6, 10-8-8, 7-7-6. And 9-7-7-7-6. Oh, brother. Okay. 10-9-8-8. I mean, this lineup is good. I can't. Cam Davis, I can come down here and change this. I don't think I want Cam Davis in my lineups. Is it the 2-glove course? It loves rye. I mean, it could be. 10-9-8-8. Oh yeah, I don't want Pendrith. Let me bring back EVR. Okay, let me see. Who do I not want? I don't want Kim, Pendrith, perfect. I don't want Sahith. The rest of those guys are fine. Don't want Mitchell. I don't want Finau. Don't want Spawn. I don't want Clark. Yeah, well, I won't pick Minwoo. Okay. Should be fine. Let's see what's going on here. Shoffley, Cantlay, M, McNeely, Poston, and Dietrich. Yeah, that's perfect. That's exactly what I want. Did I already build this lineup? It feels like I did. Oh, no, I didn't. 10-9-8, 7-7-6. Love it. That's really good. 10-9-8-8, 7. Yeah, we don't see that. See, I would love if this was like a $7,900 golfer and that was like a $7,400 golf. You know what? I know a way. I know a way to cheat the system. It's not really cheating the system. It's just telling the optimizer you want a 10, a 9, an 8, and a 7. There we go. Perfect. And then it kicks me in the face. And it's like, yeah, we did that. I am basically telling the optimizer, I don't want anybody in the low 7s. Like, give me Rasmus Højgaard. Come on. What's the issue? There we go. See, this is something I want something like this. Xander, Cantlay, McNeely, Novak, Siwoo, Grazerman. I like that. Give me something more like that. Burns, Zalatoris, and Grazerman. Perfect. Thank you. I mean, it's too much Graze. Okay, I gotta switch the 6K range. I do like, yeah, give me Rasmus. Perfect. I wonder if this is a 10-9-9 week. I'm gonna do something crazy like this. Let's see if something like this can work out. 10 and 2 9s. I mean, obviously that has worked out in the past. I'm going with my favorite 9K plays, Oberg and Cantlay. Yeah, Burns, Grazer. Okay, yeah, why not? That's great. Grazerman's not even gonna get the boot. Okay, let's kick out Grazerman. That's too much Grazerman. Can't fall in love with the 6K golfer. Don't do it. Try again. I don't mind Adam Scott. Yes, something like this is something that is going to be way more interesting for me to build. Xander, Oberg, Cantlay. Yeah, like that's a great lineup. Xander, Oberg, Cantlay, Poston, Stevens, and Gerard. Yeah, sign me up. What a line. That's a good lineup too. We are not doing Nick Dunlap, the guy who has just been the worst in these signature events. Fowler with J Rose, sure. Yeah, okay. This is probably the route that I'm going to take, honestly. Yeah, that lineup is sexy too. So it's 10 2 9s, or it's Rory and just do like a 10 9 8 7 7 7. And this is the lineup is perfect too. Now, Gerard's showing up way too many times, so I'm going to actually kick him out. I'm going to bring back some of the other dudes that we just had. So let's kick out Ron Gerard. We'll bring back Davis. I'll bring back Hadwin, EVR, Fowler, Scott. Sure. See what else we can do. Cam Davis too cheap with 4 rounds to work with. I don't hate Cam Davis. I just don't trust him. I feel like I just had this one, right? Adam Scott with Denny McCarthy. Yeah, I already had it. Sorry, dude. Already had you. Already had you, bruh. Did we save this one also? Nope, that's not a duplicate. All right, cool. Cuckoo, ka-choo. By the way, this is like bonus time. I just want to build lineups that I haven't seen tonight. And I want to like to make sense. Build these lineups that kind of follow the bucket system. Love this lineup too. This one I think we've already done. Pretty sure we've already done that. Oh, let me just double check. Benny N with Sam Stevens. Oh, that was Gerard. Okay, whoa, 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 whoa. Back up, back up. Beep, beep. What did I say it was? Benny Ann? Did we already kick him? Nope. Okay. Let's try that again. Yep. Love it. It was a good lineup. I don't really trust Benny Ann, by the way. I don't know if I've saved that one. No, I haven't. So that's another perfect one. You know what I should do? I should do the all strategic lineup, who I think are strategists when it comes to how they play golf. Sure. I'm just going to build these until they break. Max Homa. Yeah. Okay. Sure. No idea what went on with Zalatoris last week, but we'll put him in the lineup. J Rose, Glover, and Fowler. Sure. Novak, Stevens, and Pavon. Someone mentioned Pavon. We found out he's not good. Gary Woodland. Nah. All right, one more good one. Come on. Brian Campbell. No. Brian Campbell, after his win, just hasn't been good. Joe Highsmith? Did he do? You know what? I bet people aren't even going to think of Joe Highsmith. I don't think he's that good, but Sam Stevens, Rose. Sure. It's not the last one. I want one more good one. Cam Young. Sure. All right. All right. So let's do what I think is the all strategic lineup. I think it's Xander. I think it's still Cantlay. I think it's M. Let me go down in the 7K range. I don't know if I think any of these 7K golfers are strategic. Let's just do Denny McCarthy. I think. Okay, yeah, let's do Denny. Rose. Rose would be strategery. I want Adam Scott, but I also don't think he's been playing that great. You know, Alex Noren would probably be one, but I just don't trust him. I would pick Adam Hadwin, but I also don't trust him. I want Will Zalatoris because I do think he's a strategery player, but him, okay. I think I've got what, 5 golf. I do have 5 golfers locked in. Let's see if it breaks. It might break. Doesn't. And I didn't lock in. I did lock in Denny McCarthy. Who didn't I lock in that got picked? Did I have 6 guys I locked in? Oh, I did. All right. Yeah, it would have broke. Okay. Let's kick out Denny McCarthy. I want to see if it breaks. Doesn't. It puts an Aaron Rye. Yeah, of course it does. Okay. And I actually would put Aaron Rye as a strategic golfer, honestly. So, yeah. I'm going to kick out Rye. I mean, that just works out really well. So it's just going to be a 7K golfer it chooses. It's probably going to put in Davis Thompson, right? Finau. Tony Finau. I'm actually going to kick out Adam Scott. And again, don't fall in love with a 6K golfer. I'm going to bring in McCarthy. So it should pick a $6,200 golfer or $6,300 golfer. It breaks. So it doesn't like Denny McCarthy. All right, we'll kick him out and I'll let the optimizer select the last 2 golfers. Mitchell and Grazerman, of course it would. How about no? And I'm sure now it'll be Finau and I'll say no again. Probably Benny Ann will be the next one, and that's fine. Davis Thompson. No, I don't want Davis Thompson either. I don't mind Thomas Dietrich. I think Dietrich's a talented player. There's Benny Ann, like I said. There's Benny Ann with Grazerman. I don't like... Grazerman has talent. I don't want... Like, this one is going to have... The next one's going to have Gerard in it, and maybe that's fine. But I don't want... Yeah, I wouldn't want Siwoo. Siwoo's not a strategist. He's just fire away. And I don't like Penrith. I don't like Michael Kim. Poston and Penrith? That's close. That's close. I'm going to kick out Penrith. Wheels up. Good night, man. Benny Ann and Sahith. Sahith is not strategic either. Sahith is straight up volatile. All right, I'm gonna see if I can get in the next 3. And this one right here is fine. Okay, 10, 9, 8, 7, 7, 6. Perfect. That's my strategic lineup. Both of them I think are fine. I'm cool with those. Okay. All right. Jeez. This was late. 3 hours, 34 minutes. Any questions before I log off tonight? Anything you guys want to discuss, go over? AJ says good stream. Thanks, man. Good night says I'm out. Good night and good luck. Good night and good luck to you as well. I didn't even see how many likes did we get. 15? Forgot to mention if we got 25 likes, then I would give out 5 memberships. Whoops. Whoopsies. Final statements. Don't forget to drink more poppy and kombucha. Wow. I'm watching the end of the Indianapolis, or Indiana, I should say. I can't believe Indiana won. Oh my God. That's nuts. The Warriors beat the Timberwolves? How? Oh, because the Wolves didn't make any of their shots? Go figure. Settle for the jump shot. It's a rye hoagie burger deli lineup. Hey, I don't mind that. Max Homa's legendary. Oh boy. All right, ladies and germs, I'm out of here. I'm tired. It's bedtime. And Curry was out unbelievable. I know. That's what I just saw too. Right, dudes, dudettes, everyone in between. That didn't even work. What the heck? Did it work? Did work. All right. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. All right, bye.